All right.
You are about to opt in to Monerotopia, a show for the Monero community where all are welcome to join. From noob to maxi, no matter what bags you hold. Just sit back and relax to the sweet sounds of Monero's latest progress. Or if you're feeling inspired, join us on stage. Remember, the only thing that can stop Monero is a false belief that it can be stopped. And if you want to win the revolution faster, we recommend you remove your XMR from all custodial exchanges immediately. Warning, voting accidents are common around here. Don't forget to properly secure your private keys. Monerotopia starts now.
Okay.
Good morning, happy weekend, everybody. We had a few technical difficulties, or somebody said in the comments. What did someone say? It was kind of funny.
What is that?
Oh, I lost the comment, or somebody deleted it. Somebody said something like technical issues or satanic, agencies trying to run the show, stuff like that.
No, it's just our stupidity. It has nothing to do with that. Yeah. We shadow ban ourselves. I don't know, man. Like, it's like there's not too many variables, but for some reason things get knocked out of whack. It's whenever we try to change and like make things better, it just ends up making things much worse. So right now I don't even know where my sound is coming out of, but it sounds okay, right?
It sounds very good, yeah. And it sounds like it's coming from the mic. So yeah, the camera looks good. The microphone sounds good. Yeah, so it's all good.
All right, let's get it started.
Okay. Somebody said, shortwave surfer said, as long as you speak up, otherwise it's a little quiet. For me, it sounds good. So I don't know.
I mean, I could raise my gain a little bit. How about that? Is that better?
Oh, that sounds, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Yeah.
All right, sweet. And now I'm sure people will be complaining that I'm too loud. That's the other thing. If you're complaining, like, just honestly shut the fuck up. Like, you don't have to watch the show. Really don't care. What we do is to get information out there. I get people that just like nitpick about the stupidest fucking things. It's really fucking annoying. Like, dude, you really, if I don't know, if the sound levels aren't to your liking, I don't know what to tell you, man. Move on. All right, let's move on to price report.
Okay, before I say that, before we go on to price report, I actually want to say I like the light, the purple light with the mural and the whole thing. It's really nice. It looks really good.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
The Monerotopia Price Report segment is sponsored by Local Monero. Avoid using KYC exchanges. Buy and sell Monero directly for fiat, peer-to-peer.
Hey.
Morning, man.
Bawdy,
how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just partaking with the technical difficulties with you guys. Although today I got all my shit worked out, I should be good to go.
All right, fingers crossed.
Awesome.
It's like a merry-go-round. It goes around. Like, one of us has technical difficulties every week.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, the way we try to fix something, it only makes it worse. And then after like much struggle and like head banging against the wall, you finally, it's probably like one little setting somewhere that like just one little thing that you forgot about, like something is unplugged or maybe a cable's bad. And you're like, God, just that one thing. And then it gets better. Like you just keep improving, things get better and better. Your automation gets better. But yeah, I mean, it feels like the more you work with technology, the more you realize that everything just barely fucking works. Like operating systems, code, software, everything just like barely works.
It's very true.
So, I guess we'll talk a little bit about price. So the ETF's launched. We have some history behind us now. I thought some of the ways that they named these ETFs were hilarious. So, for example, Valkyrie, they named their ETF Burr. That's their Bitcoin ETF. Kind of funny. They launched the ETFs and basically, price has fallen since the launch of all the ETFs. Let's go over some of these names. Okay, so there's like 10 of them. There might be more than 10, but so you've got the iShares Bitcoin Trust. iShares is like one of the primary people that do ETFs for like commodities and stuff. They're called iBit. The Van Eck Bitcoin Trust is called HODL. Let's see. We went over the Valkyrie Bitcoin Fund. That's BRRR. Burr. You got to wonder, like, they had to have been like, these fucking finance bros after work one day in the bar. There's like, what should we call this fund, man? I don't know. What about Burr? All the Moon Boys are always complaining about all the Burr money that JPAL prints. You've got Wisdom Tree Bitcoin. You've got Bitwise ETF, ARC21 shares Bitcoin. And supposedly these things have been doing a shitload of volume. So if I am to believe Twitter, and I haven't gone and like really verified it for myself, but apparently like more volume has been done on this Bitcoin ETF than like any other ETF in the history of ETF releases. So that's interesting, especially since the price has been down. Grayscale is trying to get their price normalized. They've been sharing off chunks of Bitcoin, trying to, and that's actually like in hindsight, that's an interesting dynamic, because we could have looked at that and we could have said, hey, there's still a 10% gap of the Bitcoin Trust or the GBTC Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and that's getting converted to an ETF. So they have to normalize that price differential now, and the only way they can do that is by selling off Bitcoin, removing Bitcoin from that trust. So kind of in hindsight, you could have looked at that and said, yeah, that's going to be significant selling pressure right there. Maybe that would, going forward, that could actually be a little bit of an instructive point for us. Once Grayscale normalizes their price to, like, they normalize their ETF value to the actual Bitcoin that they're holding, maybe that would be a moment for pivot, right? Because right now things are kind of like slowly drifting down. Basically, the charts don't look great. But maybe once Grayscale normalizes, that could be like a pivot point where we could see some resurgence. Just an idea. I'll have to think about that some more later on this week. So the real story here today is stocks, NASDAQ and S&P. So the NASDAQ has now made a nice big bounce well above its previous all-time high, which was here. The white and green lines are a global liquidity. So the white line is, the green is U.S. liquidity, and then white is global liquidity. So it includes the U.S. liquidity, but it also includes all of the M2SL, all the M2 money from all the other different banks out there, and those banking balance sheets, plus everything that's going on with the macro money liquidity situation in the U.S. And so you'll see, like, that this is something I hadn't looked at. I don't know why. I just stopped looking at the global liquidity for some reason. But yeah, in the beginning of December, we just had a big bump. Things just jumped to the top side, which kind of makes sense because, stocks bumped. I think that these things tend to play off of each other. So stocks pump. The companies out there, the financial bros, they have a higher valuation. Suddenly they can justify more borrowing, more lending. And again, borrowing and lending is the way in which new money comes into being. That's the stork, or JPOW, bringing more money to the world. So then, like, okay, then global liquidity pumps, and then you get the stock market pumps again. So yeah, I mean, right now the stock market is the place to be. Even if we take a look at the relative prices. So is this Bitcoin? This is Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin relative to the NASDAQ. And yeah, I mean, you'll notice, like, in terms of the pleb lines, that was kind of like a reasonable spot to expect a little bit of topping action there. At some point in a real bull market, this thing's going to break to the upside here. These are like kind of very long-term standard deviation lines. So I would expect that things need to spend. So if things were going to break, I'm not saying it's going to go up right here. It could very well just come to the downside and then go to the upside. But at any rate, these standard deviation lines are going to be pretty strong, and there's going to need to be some time spent here churning before Bitcoin really starts outperforming the NASDAQ. So I wouldn't expect Bitcoin to be making significant, massive gains that outperform NASDAQ for a period of time. I guess we could look at the range here: 30% up, 30% down, right? So we're looking at 20 to 30% oscillation to the up and down side. But I wouldn't expect Bitcoin to like 2x outperform the NASDAQ here until like a real big macro bull market starts again. And I mean, people probably would want to quibble and say, well, we are starting a big new macro bull market. And okay, maybe we are. Probably we are. Almost certainly we are. But that doesn't mean that price has to go up now, right? That doesn't mean we'll get the hockey stick exponential move just quite yet. I mean, yes, we've had some exponential moves, but we're not looking at like, it's not August of 2020 or anything like that, or December of 2020, right? We haven't seen those kind of movements just quite yet. Let's see. This would be the total market cap relative to the NASDAQ. So again, don't worry about this Bitcoin thing up here. That doesn't actually count what's actually being shown here. In fact, what I could do is, why does this? They moved the mute button, or they moved. Actually, we're not going to screw with that. That's too much. Anyways, this right here is a script that I wrote. That's like the total combined market cap of everything, and that's the candles that we're looking at. Anyway, so this is total market cap relative to the NASDAQ, and it is also doing pretty well. Along those same lines, like this thing could have more, a little bit more. Like this chart looks slightly more optimistic to me in the short term than the Bitcoin versus NASDAQ chart. So, and on that theme, let's go take a look at the dominance, Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance here, right? We had that wedge kind of broke down. And then right now, like it seems like it's holding out pretty good here, the Bitcoin dominance. Probably the ETF is keeping it, at the forefront in a lot of ways. I think that's all on purpose, right? Like we don't have to hash that out again, but I mean, keeping the coin that you can't actually use very well, and that every time people try to use just clogs up, keeping that at the forefront of the picture really keeps people away from the idea of actually using it as money. That's the power. That's the thing that has to be taken back. We don't need another store of value that goes on to reserve balance sheets and that's held for long periods of time by big companies, but no one actually uses. Like that doesn't give us freedom. Like just because you can audit it, that doesn't do shit. Like it doesn't matter. Like we can audit it now. Okay, whatever. Like you really think that the United States doesn't have 8 tons of gold? Like I doubt that they're like seriously lying about that. They might be lying about where it's stored. It's probably not in Fort Knox, but okay, whatever. Yet I digress. So Bitcoin dominance here. Yeah, I mean, fell out of the wedge, seems to be hanging on. This thing could go up, it could go down. It doesn't matter. I tend to think that down would be the direction here, slowly meandering down as altcoins start to play a little bit of catch up. At some point, I feel like there's got to be a breaking story for the Ethereum ETF. Like all these companies filed for the Ethereum ETF. And now the battle will begin again, right? They'll get Ethereum into the macro, into the traditional finance world. If that happens, like the moment that you see the Ethereum ETF like hitting the news headlines, that's where you can start to expect that altcoins could begin a period of time where they outperform Bitcoin. So, I mean, this thing will go back and forth, right? Like at some point, if, to convince the plebs that a new big macro move is back on, a new all-time high, they'll have to push Bitcoin first to sort of convince everyone, and then altcoins will follow. And you have to remember, like the fundamental factor behind that is that the thing they're going to make the most money off of is selling shit coins and degeneracy gambling to the plebs. Like Las Vegas is a massive city, and I built, my personal investment has built a lot of those casinos, or some parts of those casinos, I'm sure. And it's the same way with cryptocurrency. Like it's not Bitcoin that's the primary moneymaker for these insiders, for the crypto cabal, and now also the financial pros. It's the altcoins, it's the shit coins, the things that they printed from nothing for free. The degeneracy that goes around, they make so much money on that. So they have to keep Bitcoin doing good, and they use it to sort of supplement the altcoin game. So anyways, in my opinion, that's like kind of a fundamental backdrop of why altcoins basically always outperform in these big macro movements. So let's take a quick look at the rest of the macro. So we had talked about the dollar index kind of showing some strength here, like it had bounced off that lower standard deviation, and that now maybe we could see a little bit of move to the upside. Overall, dollar is basically looking stable. We'll be looking for the dollar to set up on a macro move to the upside or the downside at some point. And again, right now, this is just consolidating volatility. We'll probably expect this to just sort of consolidate for a period of time, make some kind of setup, and then whichever direction that it's going to go, we'll probably take the opposite end of that, right? So if dollar is looking like it's about to break down, like it's going to want to come visit these lower, very long-term standard deviations, okay, that'll probably signal to us that it'll be one of many signals we're looking for that another all-time high in crypto is coming. Summer is coming in that regard. Though gold just, kind of chilling here. Same thing. We don't really, I mean, this thing, like sometimes it just makes these violent moves like it did at the end of last year in October, where it just went down and then back up. Right now, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of sitting here doing nothing. And there's probably like a part of the reason for gold to just sort of sit here and not do much is because they've already now pushed the NASDAQ to new all-time highs. And now the excitement, like the focus and the vision is going to be on NASDAQ and stocks, and then to some extent cryptocurrencies. And so that really does convince people out of gold. Like, why are you going to hold gold, which is just sitting here doing this shit, when you can be in the NASDAQ, which is putting on new all-time highs? So that's always like a prominent thing that happens. It's a sociological thing. So I would just expect that to continue. At this moment, I wouldn't expect gold to break out. At some point, it's going to, but I just wouldn't expect that on the short term necessarily. So, okay, let's take a look at bonds. Not much here to be excited about. The long end of the curve is bumping up just a little bit. You'll notice that things are getting meandering on back towards that 0 point. So I was looking at this and I was wondering, okay, well, what happens if the long end of the curve, like, okay, let's suppose that the long end of the curve comes to the top side up here, and then we get an overall non-inverted yield curve, right? Like if that happens, has that happened before? And the answer is yes. In 2008, that actually kind of happened back here. I'm not entirely sure necessarily with the signals because I just sort of noticed this, but you'll notice that the long end of the curve came and like outperformed. I shouldn't say outperformed because actually this means bonds are going down, but the interest rates on the long-term bonds came back to normalize right here, to be above the short term, which is in yellow. And that's what should happen. Interestingly enough, what you'll notice here is that on the NASDAQ, as that was happening, like the NASDAQ was kind of topping. What's also interesting is that it even technically made a slightly higher high just a few months later, even as bonds were crashing. So, yeah, I mean, these are all patterns. Like we'll kind of be looking at this. It's so slow moving. It's just hard to, it's like hard to watch because you're like, God, did anything change? It's been a month. It's been 2 months. Nothing has changed. But that's how shit surprises you. Like it'll be steady state. Nothing will happen. Something will like flash a warning signal at you in a few days or a week. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss an opportunity. So, unfortunately, that's often just how opportunity is. It's just mostly sitting and waiting until something very clear emerges from the chaos. And then you're like, nope, that's a signal. Let's take a move here. And depending on like how you manage your stack and what you want to do, like that's a strategy that some traders will use, right? You'll just be bored the entire time and you'll only take trades every now and then when you feel like you have really high confidence. Otherwise, you'll be like, nope, I'm fine. I'll watch these opportunities pass me by. It's not a big deal. I want to make sure that I'm winning. I want to make sure that I don't take losses, right? The Warren Buffett strategy of rule number one, don't lose money. So, yeah, anyways, we're kind of looking at this, looking from the past to see what might happen here. I don't know. That would be interesting if the yield curve normalizes right here. And then if it normalizes and then nothing bad happens with the stock market and it stays normalized for months and months and months, we'll just say, all right, they probably I don't know, they did something right to cover it. There's not a problem. But at least for the time being that we have the reverse repos, which still have $500 billion, we're going to probably say that nothing bad's going to happen as long as they've got reverse repos to rely on. So for the moment, we're not going to be looking for any major crashes in the near future. Once these reverse repos start to get towards that 0 point, we might start getting a little suspicious or anxious or opening up the possibility in our minds that something new could be emerging. Monero, I'm sorry that we never talk about Monero that much. What's there to talk about, guys? Only the technicals, the fundamentals, the usage, all of the good people and the awesome things happening in the ecosystem. But price, there's just not much to talk about in price, right? This is still falling volatility. We are like smack dab in the middle of these of the moving average bands, the white bands here. The ones down here at the bottom, I don't know if y'all can see that. The ones at the bottom are like the very, very, very longest term moving averages, but the short-term moving averages are in white right here, and we're basically smack dab right at the moving averages. So, yeah, there's not much to talk about here. If crypto goes up, Monero probably will sort of go up. If crypto goes down, probably Monero will sort of go down, but mostly stay stable. So, we had in terms of like Bitcoin versus Monero, we sort of, like we talked about last week, we sort of hit this point right here, just above like the very, very long-term lower standard deviation. Things bounced up. On the longer term, I don't like this chart at all. Like from a wave magic standpoint, this is fucking horrible. These bands are already curving down, like the standard deviations are curving down. Classically, what will happen is this will get to the standard deviation area here and then just find another reason to go to the downside. So that's what the technicals would say on this chart. Sorry to bear bad news there. But that's just what the chart says. So got to tell you guys what the chart actually says. Things look somewhat similar for Monero versus Ethereum. It's not quite as bad because these bands have only just barely started to curl under, and hypothetically, technically, if Monero jumped up here and like established above those bands, that would actually be a very good sign in terms of the ratio relative to Ethereum. But man, that's a lot of ifs right there. I mean, maybe it's not a lot of ifs, but the one if jumping above that band, like that is definitely a big if. If we think that the crypto run here is not over, that we're going to get like a secondary peak, kind of like we did in 2021. I mean, so far, guys, this has looked exactly like the 2021 futures ETF releases. We had 15% on the day the ETF got released and then bleed out after that. We're kind of in the bleed out phase or the consolidation phase, whatever you want to call it. And right now, things would, with the stock market going up, with liquidity being in, like there's global liquidity, there's US liquidity. With that backdrop, you would say, yeah, it would make a lot of sense that we'll get another fucking, degen pump on Bitcoin and altcoins. So with degen pumps, via leverage, right? Via liquidity and leverage. They don't put that into Monero. They don't put it into gold. They put it into their degenerate shitcoins. They move that leverage and they move that money into the places that's going to make them the most money. And they didn't get Monero for free, So as we've talked about so many times. So what it means is that if we think that's the macro backdrop and there's a reasonable likelihood of a secondary pump here on crypto markets, Monero's not gonna come here to the upside for Ethereum. Monero's not going to reestablish itself in some big area here and then do that. Like, what's going to happen? Monero's going to maybe get up here and then falter and then come down as they pump the markets again, like at least in a relative fashion, right? Like Monero will be the side redheaded stepchild beneficiary of that liquidity, but it won't get anything it won't get any directly from the cabal. So again, that's just like the realities we're dealing with. I hate to be so negative regarding the Monero's relative price, but I just gotta tell it to you guys the way I'm seeing things. So, I guess that's about it. There's really not much else to talk about here, unless any of you guys have questions. Let me check the YouTube comments. I always forget that.
What do you think of the Zcash drama? So with Zcash, bending the knee, and it looks like they're going to remain being listed on Binance. Monero, I don't think will have a similar fate, right? I think Monero is going to be removed. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's funny how they're so willing to self-pwn. Like, oh, look how compliant we are. Look how easy it is to suck the regulator dick. Like, okay, guys, y'all have fun with that.
That the community is like behind it. I know some people aren't, and which I'd expect. I would just think a lot more people in Zcash wouldn't want to go down that road. So that's a bad precedent.
Is there really a Zcash community? Is that the fabled Zcash community?
I guess exist? One or two guys on Twitter. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Every time I see positive Zcash comments, like they feel fake, they feel forced, and when I look at their profiles, rarely, I'm just kind of like, is this real? Like, is this a bot? I mean, the people associated with Zcash, like they use bots. Like they have no moral hangups against astroturfing support for their coin. I thought it was funny that Barry Silbert, one of the Monero bros out there, I can't remember which one. Sorry, bro. But they were like, Barry Silbert, did you delete all your pro Zcash tweets? Where did they go?
I saw that. Wait, I'm trying to bring it. Oh man, now this has changed too. Yeah, that's great. Is that the case? Did he really delete all his?
I mean, I didn't painstakingly go through all his tweets, and neither did I run a Twitter search. I don't trust Twitter search anyways. Like, I've used it sometimes. You're like, yeah, this doesn't show Sometimes it works. Usually it works pretty good. And other times you're like, it's useless. It's a funny.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Monero to Zcash transaction count.
Oh yeah, it's something we could pull up. Monero transaction count is stable, oscillating between 20 and 25K.
See if you can compare to Zcash.
Is it Glassnode? I think it's Glassnode. Zcash. ZC.
Well, you should be able to see them both. What do you use for?
Oh, they do have Zcash here. Of course, I forgot.
Okay,
don't believe that hockey stick down there. That's probably just some artifact of the way they print the chart. Yeah, it looks like they're. Let's go to a longer time frame. 3 years. Yeah, so it looks like I thought Zcash transactions were lower than this. I mean, at a minimum, like their transactions are falling. So if they're down to 3,000 transactions per day, that means that their hidden transactions or their shielded transactions are far lower. I mean, this is pretty bad. Like they're down to the same levels that they were consistently at. Hell, they're even lower than they were back in 2018, 2019. Like, who uses Zcash? Like, who in their right mind? Like, they don't have any dark web support, so all the all the druggies out there going to the dark webs, they're not hearing about Zcash. They're hearing about Monero. Like, their suppliers are like, please use Monero. The websites, the new Silk Roads out there, they're like, please use Monero. It's a better, it's just better to use for this use case particularly. Yeah, so it's hard to believe that their shielded amounts are doing anything better. And plus, you have to realize a lot of these transaction counts. I think these were inflated partially by that attacker. I don't know if he's still out there attacking, but it was like it didn't cost him much. It was just like $10 a day or something to flood their network.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has questions.
Oh yeah, back to the YouTube.
Darrow. People are asking, how about Darrow? I don't know.
I
don't know.
I mean, I don't want to get locked into an anti-Darrow position. I just feel like releasing bulletproofs before the math audit was complete is not like that's bad juju. Like you're not supposed to do that. That speaks directly to their competency or to their decision making. I don't know. I mean, I've heard them kind of come back and say, well, this and that. Like I remember Seth did kind of a long write-up on it, and I don't remember everything about it. It's been too long. I haven't looked into it. I mean, I guess like, bro, if there's going to be degeneracy and there's money to be made, I can't fault you for it. All I can say is just, make sure that you've got a big, strong stash of Monero that you use regularly. Personally, I would much rather see DarkFi and or Xano come into prominence. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I don't have much more to say on that. I don't want to start talking out my ass. There's like other things too that Darrow did that were questionable, but I've also heard some counter positions that it's like, okay, like, so for example, okay, they had their code was not open source for the first year, and there would have been no way to tell if they had printed extra coins. That is apparently not the case anymore. They did open their code. You can audit the chain in a similar fashion that you could audit Monero to see that they didn't like secretly print any coins. For the first year, that was like, wow, that's closed source software, guys, for a privacy coin. Wow, like it's just hard no. But they opened that up, but there's still like other things as well. So it has like a broader amount of support from the TDV guys, like from the Berwick guys, the Anarchapulco, from the Anarchapulco guys. So maybe there's something to be had there. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I saw people like tweeting that they think the same people that started Monero started Darrow. No, I don't think so, guys. I'm not seeing any evidence of that.
Yeah, like it's easy to say that, but like why would you think that?
It's a nice rumor to start, but there's like, no evidence of it and why. So I don't know. Nothing against Darrow, like, right? Yeah, we're not here to wage war against them, but just be realistic about it, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Darrow does not look like it's participating in any of the. I mean, it's down. Like it's from the top in 2021. It fell all the way through October last year, And now it's almost basically at that same point. It's still almost, it's 90% down from the top. Like this, in a world where we had the kind of leverage and the kind of liquidity and pumps that we've had over the past year, in the past 12 months, you would not expect a coin like Darrow to still be at its local lows or very, very close to its local lows from the top. It should at least be hanging out somewhere around here or somewhere around here. Like, but it's not. So you have to ask yourself, why is it not? Is there some kind of central holder that's continually selling coins onto the market, trying to maximize their value, right? Each pump, you get some mega pump and then it slowly bleeds out. You get some mega pump and then it slowly bleeds out. Maybe that's not a mega pump. Let's take a look. It's 130%. It's over 2x. This is the same kind of shit you see on charts like Ripple. When you have large centralized supply holders and you get these occasional, green dildos to the upside, and then you take the stairs down, and everyone thinks, oh, at every single point, you've got new liquidity entrants into this market saying, oh, look how much it's fallen. It pumped. It's setting up here. It's consolidating, getting ready to pump to the, nope, it gets crushed again. That's like such a common tactic that's used by, like, it's the same chart over and over again when you have central holders. Even Zcash, let's look at Zcash. Even Zcash has like similar dynamics that happen. You'll notice Zcash is, that's not the full chart. I don't want to be accused of doing what people do to Bitcoin, to Monero, especially the Monero versus Bitcoin chart. Yeah, look at the Zcash it's at all-time lows. Like, why? Well, maybe it's that 20% founders report that could have something to do with it. So it's the same thing. Just be careful, maybe you'll hit the double green, hit 0 or 0 on the roulette wheel. It happens sometimes, but just know that it's gambling, right? You're gambling getting into Darrow unless you have some kind of like insider information, or like you just have some further penetrating insight into the Darrow markets as they relate to crypto, that the rest of the bros don't see and that I particularly have not been looking at and might not be able to see myself. Like, if you have some really good insight, sure, go for Darrow. Like, maybe you'll have an opportunity there, but like, I just wouldn't. Given its current dynamics, I don't see a reason to think that should necessarily turn around. And like, just why? There's so many other coins that are performing. Like, there's so many other coins that have hope and promise and hype and visibility and everything. Like, if Monero is ignored because of its privacy features, like, what's Darrow going to be? Like, are they going to add Darrow all of a sudden? Is everyone going to love Darrow? And if they are adding Darrow to the exchanges, like, what does that tell you? Like, that might not be the best sign, in fact, that it actually performs what it's supposed to do. So, for all these reasons, like, I'm just like painting a picture here, the sort of like stream of consciousness at the moment. Like, this is my thoughts on Darrow. Like, if you ask me about it in a moment, I'm just not confident that I would, that I wouldn't bet money on it unless I had some special insight, which I don't. So if you do, good luck to you.
Yeah. And price aside, is it actively being worked on, or is it like one dev? I know that this guy's alleging that the people that created the crypto note white paper, which we know is not the case, like, or the early Monero devs created Darrow, not the case. But is there anybody even developing on Darrow, or is it just like one dude that's...
Yeah, it's a good question. I really don't know what their development ecosystem looks like. Maybe
I just don't get the the excitement. Obviously I get it. It's people that hold Darrow bags that are trying to pump it, but just for our community, people that are listening, that are interested, just be really careful. I don't see anything that really, makes it interesting. I'm willing to be proven wrong. Is there some kind of like vibrant development going on? Are there really smart people working on Darrow that are creating something interesting? I just don't see that.
Yeah, I agree. Someone here is asking thoughts on Mimblewimble. Seems it just went quiet. I think Mimblewimble is relatively mature in terms of like the goal of what they wanted to achieve. A few years, maybe it was 2 years ago now, I read a paper that said that it was broken, that it can basically be totally unwound. Just because one person came out and published a paper on ARXIV, ARXIV, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's broken, but there is someone out there that seems to know something about math and cryptography that says that they think it's broken. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Litecoin implemented it, and that was like their big claim to fame for a while, other than just being a carbon copy of Bitcoin with a slightly different mining algorithm. I don't know. Like it personally, I wouldn't want to see any technology developed with Mimblewimble because it's like it might not be strong privacy. It might have problems, and it might be able to be unwound. So you're going to get the worst of all worlds. You might not have good privacy, and then you might end up getting delisted, right? You might end up getting called a privacy coin if you're like, hey, look at our Mimblewimble. It's kind of funny in a way that Litecoin has not been delisted. It's not, being subject to those problems. But I mean, as we've seen, again, the pattern here is like, we're going to delist all the privacy coins. These have privacy enhancing features. You've got to get rid of the coins. Oh, okay, we're going to delist them all. And then later, well, actually, we kind of made a mistake. Looks like Zcash, like they have these transparent addresses. Maybe we don't need to delist Zcash. Oh, and Litecoin also, like Mimblewimble is opt-in. You don't have to use it. It's just like coins join on Bitcoin. We don't ban Bitcoin. Well, okay, relist everything except for Monero, which they leave that last part out, right? That's the silent part. I think Mimblewimble is mostly just marketing advertising. If you want strong privacy, use full membership proofs. Use a Zcash construction or the ZK Snarks construction now, which does not require the trusted setup. Or if you do a trusted setup, take in like 1,000 points of entropy over the course of a month or two, like they did when they launched Tornado Cash, or use ring signatures. Use a strong, well-known technology that works, or and make it default, or just don't implement it at all. Like it just seems more like a marketing tactic to me. So that's what I think about Mimblewimble.
For sure. And network effect. It's a real thing, right? Like you keep coming up with newfangled tech, new ideas that do things in different ways that maybe quote unquote provide more privacy. But is anybody using it? Like, where's the network effect? That's a big part in this, right? It's always been so. All right, man. Fantastic as always. And we will keep moving on. Stay on board if you can. I see Neon is asking, where's the guest link? We post the guest link during the viewers on stage segment, so we'll get there soon. That usually happens at the end of the show.
Well, I got to bounce out. I'm going to head down to the Greater Reset here later today. I'm already late, so just waiting on them to fix my car.
Who runs that?
That's Derek Bros.
Oh, yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Where's
it's in Morelia, Mexico, which is like halfway in between, say, Mexico City and Puerto Vallarta, central Mexico. Awesome. Beautiful area.
It's just like a couple of days, or how long does that go on for?
It's been going they started on Wednesday, I believe it was Wednesday, and they're going until Sunday or tomorrow, maybe Monday, and then we might go camping or something up in the mountains. So
very cool, man. Very cool.
It's awesome, man. Have a good time. Enjoy it.
Thanks.
Enjoy.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, man.
All right, Bawdy. Bye. Have a good week.
Bye.
All right.
Okay, let's get the guests going. Okay. Prancing is here.
If you want to run the guest segment.
Yeah.
The Monerotopia Guest Segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys.
Hello, Prancing. What's going on, man? Can you hear us?
It looks like he froze.
Looks like he froze. Oh no. Prancing, maybe log out, log back in, refresh.
I think you jigs the passing on the technical difficulties to other people. You pass it on to him.
This didn't just start today, Tony. This has been an ongoing theme on the show. So.
Oh, yeah.
You know it, I know it.
Yeah.
It adds to the charm. Yeah, try again, man. Hopefully we'll get them back up.
Mm-hmm.
If we have an issue, we could run the news. We got a lot of news, as always.
Yes, a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
I know that's Alaska Anon. He's ready to rock and roll. But let's see if he gets back up here. You want to run the news?
Yeah, we can start. And then if he hops on, then we can take over to...
All right, let's run the news, and then we'll go back to the guest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's run the news segment.
And now for our weekly news segment.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the news
Hey,
section.
it's funny again.
Hey. Okay.
No camera today, huh?
Not today, no.
All right.
All right.
What, are you still in your pajamas over there or something? What's going on?
I'm still getting fixed, getting stuff done in my apartment, so it kind of looks messy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so want it to look nice.
All right.
Okay, let me look on the stream to make sure it looks good. And it does. Okay, so first thing, 6 years of Cake. Thank you all, Vic said, for making Cake a massive success over the last 6 years. If you're interested in reading my notes on the 6-year journey, you can do so on Reddit. Here's the 6 years, and hopefully a lot more. Cake Wallet wrote, it wasn't easy, but with your help, we made storing, sending, and exchanging crypto safely a piece of cake. Cake Wallet is really an amazing app, and one of the best features is the gift cards, and it's really cool that they added the prepaid Visa cards, so you can get that as well. You can get gift cards for any store you'd like, if you want specifically for Nike, for Adidas, I think, from Chipotle, whatever you'd like. Overall, it's an amazing app. I've been using it for, I think, 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, I think I might be the oldest standing user. I have to be one of the first, other than the Cake team itself. We did a Spaces the other day with Vic.
Awesome.
Which is great to kind of celebrate the 6 years, and we're talking about it. One of the stories is when Cake first launched, because they were the first iOS Monero wallet. Everybody was actually waiting for another one to launch. I guess it was My Monero. Everybody had their eye on, and I thought they were going to release the first iOS wallet. And then Cake actually came out of nowhere. Wasn't on the radar. They hadn't posted anything saying we're working on things. Just Vic in the background built this with with his devs, and then when it was ready, he put it out there. And everybody was like kind of blown away, like, whoa, what is this? A Monero iOS wallet. And I was one of the first people to reach out to Vic, because in his post he had mentioned that he's from New York City, or there's some reason I knew he was from around here. And so I reached out, and we started DMing, and I met up with him for a beer in Soho. And the rest is history. My thinking then was like, all right, I got to meet up with this guy before I start, trusting it and putting my money on it. I'm just going to go old school and meet up with the guy who built it. I'm not tech savvy enough to understand if it was developed well. So I'm like, let me go shake this guy's hand, see if I trust him. And yeah, I certainly do. And Vic has shown to be very trustworthy in the community, and has given so much to the community in addition to just Cake Wallet itself. And all the features he's added through Cake throughout the years, and listening to user feedback. He's just done a lot for the Monero ecosystem itself. Always the first to donate to things and to support people. So tremendous thank you to Cake. And it's kind of, I don't know, slightly depressing to know that it's been 6 years. Like, holy shit, time flies.
It does. Yeah.
Remember like when crypto was like, crypto's not new anymore, guys, right? Like crypto's like old. It's kind of like the young kids are like, they're up and cut. Like crypto is old now. I don't know.
It even sounds so weird to say 2024. 2024. Like we're closer to 2030 almost now. Yeah, it's whatever. But Vic is amazing, and also what I like about Cake Wallet is just the UI design. Like it's a beautiful design. The colors, the simplicity of it. It's not that complicated. It's user friendly. So he really thought about the app when he made it, and it keeps getting better and better and better. So
yeah, it's kind of funny too. Like the branding of Cake is like friendly and happy and positive, which is good, right? And then you have like a lot of things in Monero. It's like
anarchy.
Yeah, anarchy, cypher, which I totally appreciate.
Yeah.
But like Cake is like more cypherpunk than anyone because he's actually doing it and like getting users and getting people to use it and in portraying things in a positive light, right? Like Monero, it's just money, it's just cash.
Exactly.
Yes, you could go on dark markets and use it for those purposes, but you could just use it for your activities.
Yeah, it just looks welcoming as an app.
Right.
I've set it up to people that are not techie at all, like at all. They can't even send money around, like Monero and stuff. And they find Cake Wallet to not be that complicated, and they like it.
All right, moving on.
The next 60 years, 600 years, 6,000. Somebody said in the YouTube section, Enrico D'Urso, has the dev segment been skipped lately?
Yeah, we're gonna bring it back. Actually, we have somebody coming on next week to do it.
Awesome.
So we love the dev segment. We will be bringing it back, and we might be adding another like monthly segment on different things as well too.
Yeah, I've been trying to get someone for that. I'm still looking. That'll be. Should we I know we shouldn't mention it. Have you mentioned it before publicly?
Yeah, actually, we might as well mention it. Well, I know Alaska Anon has some ideas as well.
It's really cool.
But yeah, and just in general, we were looking to do, if not weekly, maybe a monthly kind of report on doings in the dark market, right? With regards to Monero would be cool. So anybody that's really has their ear to the ground with that regard, that watches things over there, that wants to come on the show, you don't have to show your face. You can disguise your voice if you want to sound all ominous and whatnot in cypherpunk. You could also come and show your face, right? I don't think that there's anything illegal about going on and viewing the dark market or the dark net. And we want to do kind of like a monthly segment on that, get a report on what's going on, see how Monero is growing there in different ways it's being used, where adoption's happening, and all the interesting things that it's being used for there. So that's what we're trying to do. So if anybody's interested in being that person, please reach out.
Additionally, I think it'll be so interesting if we had guests that would necessitate Monero to do certain activities on darknet markets, and obviously no camera, and then they can use a Batman voice modulator, whatever they want to disguise their identity. But I think it'll be really interesting just to get to know why they are using Monero, why they think Monero useful versus other ones. That'll be interesting too.
Yep.
Okay. So this is interesting. The Irish government wants to pass a law that could see you or your loved ones jailed for possession of memes, cartoons, or any content that could be deemed hateful. And then Sheila wrote, coming soon, selling memes, cartoons, and West Coast gangsta rap songs to Ireland on darknet markets for Monero. Let's watch this video. So 1 minute.
Yep, sound. Okay, there you go. Oh, no.
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
I don't hear her talking. I don't hear sound. Tony?
Yeah.
I don't hear her sound. Do you?
Oh. It should be able to, because I set it to... That should have worked. Oh my God. Okay.
The technical difficulties.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear now?
The Irish government is proposing a law known as the hate speech.
Oh, before that, there are 38 people watching this video through YouTube and just 14 likes. Enrico D'Urso said, guys, if you're watching, like it. Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, we got 48 people like and share. This is pretty good, man. We consistently have like 50 live viewers on YouTube, and then we have people watching it elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only way this grows is people like and share. So go ahead and do it.
Please do.
Bill that threatens free speech. This law could have dire consequences for our democracy.
Next month, and then
this law will have uncertain effects on artistic and musical expression. Please support us. It could stifle the activity of public campaigning on political and civil issues, and also curtail speech relating to topics about religion, ethnicity, sex, and gender. You could even be jailed for possessing documents, cartoons, or memes on your devices, even if you never read them or intended on sharing them. Mere possession could make you a criminal under this law. Help stop this law. Visit www.freespeechireland.ie/take action.
Jesus.
Yeah, can you imagine, like, they find memes of, for example, against the government or the president in Ireland, or, you know, anything that they deem to be hateful, and then you can go to jail, actually be jailed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate form of censorship, right?
Yes.
So really scary stuff, guys. And if it happens there, then you'll start to see it happen in other places. But yeah, this is why we Monero.
Foxcode said in the YouTube section, how do they know I have it in the phone? Well, I mean, maybe, I mean, they don't, but, you know, for some reason, maybe if they go to you on the streets and say, oh, I mean, that'll be highly unlikely, but I don't know, they could find out.
The point is, it's going to have a chilling effect, right? Because
Right.
most people don't want to do illegal things. So if they create laws like this, it's just going to have a chilling effect on society, where they're going to be, apprehensive, and they're going to not be as willing to, post things and memes that they think might get them in, that are controversial. And those are often that's the type of speech that we need the most, right? It's the speech that is controversial. Those are the messages that you need to get out to the public forums for the public to decide whether or not these are good ideas or bad. So very dangerous idea to move in that direction and start to censor things in those ways.
Very dangerous. And actually, Foxcoin, think about it this way. What if it's going to be incentivized for people to report you? I've seen someone on the bus looking up memes and they seem to be hateful because blah, blah, blah. And then, I mean, we will not know that you've been reported. And all of a sudden, so there's so many things. Plus what Doug said. I mean, I
can't believe there's actually a bill for that, though. I mean, that is...
Yeah.
Ireland. What is going on over there? Anybody that lives there that has more details on that, please jump up on the viewers on stage. I'd love to get some local input on what's going on there. That sounds absurd. Like how could it have gotten to that point where the citizens have elected people that are willing to move their country in that direction? That's terrifying.
And anything can be hateful. Anything. You may not think that it's hateful, but it's, yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about Michael Saylor and the Bitcoin community. So Seth Privacy wrote, are we in it for freedom money or purely fiat number go up? We'll never in a million years understand why people simp after Saylor when he stands against everything that Bitcoin was created to be. Ridiculous that he headlines all the major conferences throughout the year and says things like this. Stop talking about regulatory arbitrage, censorship, resistance, privacy, and tax evasions. These are all bad ideas. We hate that. People with billions of dollars, they don't want to invest in crypto networks that support anarchists, Saylor explained. Anything that advertises privacy and freedom from government theft becomes a direct enemy of the FBI, Interpol, and every law enforcement agency on the planet. So then what is the point of Bitcoin? Just to adhere to regulations and obviously, fiat number go up. It's definitely not about freedom. If you don't, focus on censorship resistance, privacy, and not bending the knee to any organization in the world.
Michael Saylor has been like one of the worst things for crypto. I mean, he's just out there just destroying what the meme of Bitcoin is supposed to be. He's turned it into not even digital gold. I say this all the time. I think he's pushing it towards digital property, which is really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's non-fungible digital property. He's even talked about it in those terms, kind of like owning a piece of Manhattan. And what is that? When you own a piece of property, everybody knows you own it, right? That's right. It's out there. It's public knowledge. The whole world knows you own it. The whole world knows when you transact it and sell it to somebody else. This is Saylor's vision of Bitcoin. It's not about censorship resistance. It's not about peer-to-peer untraceable digital cash. It's about digital property that's on a ledger for the whole world to see. And he thinks that's, I don't know, that's good for people that want to store their wealth in this digital thing. We talk about it all the time on the show. I mean, at the end of the day, then what even gives it its base utility? Why does it even have value in the first place?
Exactly. Yeah. And what makes it so special? The fact that it's the first. I mean, yeah, we had, for example, we had the first cars and first planes and whatever, and that's cool. But we have stuff that are way better now than the first car that we invented 100 years ago, or the first planes. So, I mean, people turn it into a holy thing that it's the Bitcoin blockchain and it's so special and it's the first crypto effect, which is true. I mean, being first does help, and it has a big name and everybody knows Bitcoin, but it's time to move on. There's nothing special. It doesn't work as money, which is the most important thing. So then what is the point of it? It's not censorship resistance. It doesn't offer you privacy. It doesn't really work as a currency. A lot of people in the Bitcoin community, they don't agree with the 21 million cap of coins. Plus, what is going to happen to the miners eventually when they're just going to rely on fees? How is the network going to sustain itself, Yeah,
I mean, what Saylor's really saying too, right? If Bitcoin is going to the moon, we're going to need a lot of deep pockets to climb on board. People with billions of dollars don't want to invest in crypto networks that support anarchists. So, he's laying it out right there, right? So if you want the number to go up, this is the direction we need to move towards. And that is the problem with Bitcoin. They're designing towards number go up instead of towards being peer-to-peer digital cash.
Yep.
All right, keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving with more stuff from Seth for Privacy. This one is about him being called lynched.
Yeah. This is just crazy. So this guy T-Dev is he's a disaster. He's kind of like respect for Samurai Wallet and what they've done, creating privacy tech for Bitcoin. But this dude, T-Dev, is just horrible for the space. I mean, here he is. He's calling for the lynching of Seth for privacy. Obviously, I think, he loves being extreme, right? Like I was saying before, right? Like, so Cake Wallet is all like cheery and, butterflies and cake. And Samurai Wallet's really badass. In fact, it's run by T-Dev, who's like the most badass dude in the world. Yeah. I guarantee if you met this guy, he's just like such a little bitch. I mean, so here he is attacking Seth for privacy because Seth pointed out that the implementation of BTC Monero atomic swaps that they're using isn't the most recent implementation. And it's the one that will effectively allow it to be seen that Bitcoin is being swapped into Monero, right? Like, so chain analysis companies will be able to see that. And so Seth is just pointing this out. He's not saying, don't use it. He's just pointing out how the tech actually works and what the implications are. And T-Dev calls for his lynching because of this, which it's just respect lost, right? I mean, so if their tech is as good as they claim, they should have no problem talking about it out in the open, and they shouldn't be calling for the lynching of people that are just questioning it and bringing up points about it. I'm just really surprised because their whole thing is like being against BTC maxis, and they've created their own kind of group of maximalism. The T-Dev Mac, I don't even know what it is. I can't really even describe it. It's just whatever he says is correct. He wants to control the narrative. He doesn't want people, talking about his technology in an open way and having debates about it. He flipped out on me because we had Nopara on our show, the creator of Wasabi Wallet. Wasabi is competitors with Samurai, and because of that, now he refuses to engage with me. He won't come on. well, he doesn't go on podcasts anyway, but he doesn't want Samurai to participate in anything we do or whatnot because we had a guest on the show from a competing company that they don't like. Like that just screams of insecurity to me, right? Like, what are you afraid of? You know, you're working on a technology. Let's come and talk about it. We can talk about the pros and the cons. We can compare it to your competition. But if you're trying to shut down anybody that's like talking about your tech in an open way, or if you're trying to shut down anybody that has that associates with people that are your competitors, and now you don't want to like associate with them. I mean, that's like, I don't know. That's the ultimate form of cancel culture. It's like completely antithetical to being a cypherpunk. Like you're not a cypherpunk. You're just a punk.
That's funny. That was a good one. And especially like if you're against censorship, then how about be the one to allow other people to talk, even if you don't agree? And as long as it's a respectful exchange, then just let the other person talk. For example, we wanted Zach on the show multiple times. Just because maybe we don't agree on certain stuff, we can still discuss. Or at Monerotopia, anybody's welcome. And there are people, Bitcoin people, Zcash people, everybody. As long as you communicate, and we're all on the same path, and we get along, it doesn't matter. There's going to be competition always, but be respectful, and always.
Doors open. You know, especially Samurai people. I'm so excited they're doing the Bitcoin to Monero atomic swaps, and they're implementing it. Very excited for them. But like, let's talk about it. And just because you're doing it doesn't mean we all have to say, okay, bow our heads to you and be like, this is amazing, this is perfect. We're allowed to question it, and we're allowed, we're going to do that. They're going to lose users. They're going to lose customers because, like Rise Taylor was saying, it screams scam to me. This is how people are going to view it, especially not even with me, right? I had Wasabi on there. All right, sure. I'm just a podcast guy. Say what you want. Yeah, okay. But when you attack Seth for privacy, extremely intelligent, diplomatic dude who's been nothing but like honest and straightforward in this space and very balanced in how he approaches things. If you attack him for making comments on your tech, you're going to lose a ton of credibility.
And especially when Seth for privacy comments on something, it's not just to comment. He's actually giving you constructive, good criticism that if you take, then your product is going to be better, because that's all he cares about. And that's what the community wants.
People saying it's all about marketing. I don't understand that marketing approach. I get they have like their little army of people that are in their cult, but I don't see how that tent is going to grow beyond that small army, because there's only so many people that are going to go along with that, because most people are smart enough to not want to be part of a cult.
And that's why Cakewallet has a lot of success. No drama, easy to use, still gives you the freedom that Monero does, all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vic would never call for the lynching of anybody that has comments on his technology.
Yeah. Plus, you have some level of responsibility if you're part of a team to, be careful with the stuff that you say on the internet, because people will find that. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Stripe. So Stripe is trying to blackmail someone for selling Bitcoin mining hardware. So Rob said on Twitter, deplatforming freedom technology is now what the world needs. Stripe doesn't realize it is on the wrong side of history. Please retweet, like for visibility. Stripe support said, hey Rob, thanks for waiting while we looked into this. Looking at your website, it appears you're selling mining hardware. Could you confirm if this is something you'd be willing to remove from your website? At present, mining hardware is against our terms of service, and so is unsupportable. And then Fluffy Pony tweeted back, if only there were some alternative form of payment you could accept for mining hardware. Maybe something that doesn't require a centralized third party to accept payments. I know this is crazy talk, and it'll never exist, but just imagine such a world. Wink, wink. And then somebody said, reply back, Monero fixes that. You can deplatform selling CPUs. 100%. So it's interesting. Stripe, and then we talked about PayPal censoring just because you tweeted something that might be regarded as hateful, then they'll subtract, I think, $2,300 or something from your account per hateful comment or whatever you wrote. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So if you made 2, that's like $4,600. And I think it's still being implemented. I think at some point they had it implemented and they took it off and then they put it back on.
Yeah, but Fluffy's point is like, why are they even using these systems? They should be using crypto to, using Monero to sell their mining equipment or Bitcoin.
Yep. Also
all right, keep moving.
Let's talk about JPMorgan, Jamie Dimon calling Bitcoin a pet rock.
This is funny.
So let's watch this video. So what happened to the guest? Is he still here? Is he waiting or?
I think he is back. Yep.
He's back. Okay. Do you want to finish the news section and then go to back to the guest, or do you want to?
Yeah, might as well. Let's run through it. Let's get through the news. We'll bring him up.
Okay. So we can go faster through the other ones. Oh, this one's not loading. Let's try to refresh. There we go.
That I know you find sort of laborious at this point.
That's a good word.
Which is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This ETF was approved just about a week ago now, and I think a lot of people are trying to understand what it ultimately means. JPMorgan, I imagine if you were a client of JPMorgan, you could call your broker and say, "Get me some of this ETF." Mm-hmm. What are you telling your brokers to tell them back when they make that call?
Yeah. So this is an important thing. This is the last time I've ever talked about this in CNBC. Okay, so help me God. Blockchain is real. It's a technology. We use it. It's going to move money. It's going to move data. It's efficient. We've been talking about that for 12 years too, and it's very small. Okay, so I think we've wasted too many words in that. Cryptocurrencies, there are 2 types. There's a cryptocurrency which might actually do something. Think of a cryptocurrency as an embedded smart contract in it, and that we can use it, buy and sell real estate and move data. That may have value.
The idea of tokenizing.
Tokenizing things that you do something with. And then there's one which does nothing. I call it the pet rock, the Bitcoin or something like that. And so on the Bitcoin, there's, first of all, and I'm not trying to make a joke here. There are use cases, AML, fraud, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, sex trafficking. Those are real use cases, and you see it being used for hundreds, maybe $50, $100 billion a year for that. That is the end use case. Everything else is people train among themselves. So
speculate.
Now my last statement, the last time I ever talk about Bitcoin is I defend your right to do Bitcoin. I think, it's okay. I don't want to tell you what to do. So my personal advice would be don't get involved, but I don't want to tell any one of you what to do. It's a free country.
What do you make of BlackRock? What do you make of the other firms, the BlackRocks of the world that obviously, and Larry Fink changed his view of this, obviously. Yeah. And maybe he changed his view because you think he genuinely believes in Bitcoin or believed it because he thinks that there's a marketplace for it and he wants to be part of that market. But what do you think of there's about a dozen big financial companies, Fidelity included.
Number one, I don't care. So just please stop talking about this shit. And I don't know what he would say about blockchain versus currencies that do something versus Bitcoin that does nothing. And maybe that's not different than me. But, this is what makes a market. People have opinions. This is the last time I'm ever going to state my opinion.
He's,
to a topic that I know.
He's not wrong. Right?
No, he's not wrong.
He's saying Bitcoin's only use case is that of a pet rock. Actually, no, it does have some. Well, he's wrong one way, right? So he's saying it does have some utility, and that's for purposes of, using it on the dark market or paying ransoms. But it's not good. It's not even good. It's being used for those purposes, but it's not good for those purposes, and it's being used less and less for those purposes because people are realizing it doesn't function well as digital cash. So it doesn't even have that utility. That's where he actually is wrong. So it's more akin to pet rock than anything else. He's actually giving it more credit than it deserves, I would say, at this point.
Yeah, those are good points. Ramsey wrote on YouTube.
Pet rock can somehow sustain itself forever and continue to be number go up as people just blindly decide to to all agree that this thing has value for forever, even though it has no base utility.
Somebody wrote, Bitcoin does do something, Jamie. It obsoletes you. No, I don't think it does. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about, let's get into some Trump news. So these ones are pretty promising. President Trump just made a new promise in New Hampshire tonight, and I have full confidence he will keep it. Tonight, Trump said, I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Such a currency will give the federal government absolute control over your money. This will be a dangerous threat to freedom, and it will stop it from coming to America. We are also going to put in place strong protections to stop banks and regulators from trying to debank you for your political beliefs. That will never happen while I am your president.
Promising to see. A little troubling that it took Trump so long to get there. Mm-hmm. He's been a little bit slow on the whole crypto thing and the CBDC thing, right? Ron DeSantis was like the first one. Came out really strong against CBDCs. I think we saw RFK Jr. is against it. Obviously, Ramaswamy was against it. So now it looks like Ramaswamy has dropped out of the race. He's now teaming up with Trump, and it looks like he's whispering in his ear, and Trump is actually listening to him, that's encouraging, right? So if Trump is going to be our next president, it's nice to know that it looks like we'll have Ramaswamy there by his side, whether he's the VP or something else in his cabinet. He will be informing him on crypto, on CBDCs, and who knows, maybe even something like Monero and digital cash, right? So I've been trying to get Ramaswamy's attention. I would love to hear his full take on the digital cash use case for crypto. I've heard him say things that seem to very much align with being supportive of it and believing that, we need a cash replacement for the internet. So maybe this is our pathway towards that. Ramaswamy whispering in the ear of Trump, but Trump doesn't arrive at these things on his own. It just kind of proves that Trump is there to please the people. He sees the liberty thing working. He sees it working with how successful Milei is now, right? And he sees Milei trending on the internet. So he's like, let me do some of that. Let me do some of that base Milei anarcho-libertarianism talk. But it's good. It's good that whether he's doing it just to pander to the people, doesn't matter. The fact is he is doing it, and he's helping us spread the meme and spread these ideas.
I can't wait to talk about Milei, actually. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. Because last week we were wondering what is he doing at WEF conference? What is he going to talk about? And his talk was really interesting. So we're going to get into it in a little bit. But let's talk about Tom Emmer. So Representative Tom Emmer agreed with former President Donald Trump's view of central bank digital currencies as a threat to financial privacy. And essentially what this article is saying is that he would like to work with Trump. Tom Emmer would like to work with Trump to fight against the expanding government surveillance state. And
Emmer's been on the forefront of that, always out there against CBDCs and always speaking positively about digital cash. But it seems like the Zcash people have gotten to him. For some reason, Monero people aren't able to, including myself. I've tried. I've spoken to his office. So I find that a little sus. Like, he's willing to talk to Zcash related people, but hasn't been willing to talk to the Monero people or bring. I don't think he's mentioned Monero by name. So I don't know what that's all about.
Can you imagine if we got Milei to come to the conference in Argentina?
Obviously, that is the goal. That's
the dream. That would be amazing. Oh my god. That would be so cool.
We're gonna fight for that and how we might be able to get his attention, but I'm sure he's a busy guy. We'll see. We should say, next Monerotopia conference will be in Buenos Aires. Will be in Argentina, and we now know that it's going to be in December. It's going to be that first weekend in December, alongside La BitConf.
Okay. God, if you can imagine if Milei actually came to the conference, we would have thousands of people hopefully coming.
Yeah, we're going to do it in a way where it's going to be obviously open for locals to attend. Basically, if for like a nominal price or very cheap, or there'll be sections we'll be able to. It's going to be built in a way we did the last Monerotopia in Mexico City, with the marketplace open to the public. So that's going to allow anybody to kind of like integrate into the conference and come and learn about Monero.
We should rent the space next to the governmental building. So when he passes by, hey, what's that? Why there are so many people there? It was like, Milei, come talk. Come on. That'll be awesome. Let's talk about a tweet from Jim Jordan. We now know the federal government flagged terms like MAGA and Trump to financial institutions if Americans completed transactions using those terms. What was also flagged if you bought a religious text like a Bible or shopped at Bass Bro Shop. That's interesting.
Yeah, scary stuff, guys. Like here we are talking about Ireland and how they're ready to make certain memes illegal. We got the same thing going on in this country, a different form of it.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, this is why we Monero, so we can preserve our liberty and our free speech in the digital age, because we can't rely on governments to preserve it for us.
And if that wasn't scary enough, let's go into pretty scary and concerning stuff. So the WEF just confirmed a global CBDC. They admit they will track what you eat, your travels, who you speak to, and everything else you do in life. But of course, they're doing this to save us from the climate emergency. So let's watch this video.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
I'm waiting for like Milei to just come like crashing through the background. Like, oh my God.
It's so I don't even know what word to use to be able to utter those words, to just like, and just so confidently and so without worry. Like, yeah, we're gonna track what you eat, your travels, who you speak to, everything else you do in life, and all this stuff in order to protect you.
Yes.
I bet. Does this guy even have kids or family? That's what I wonder. You know, because your daughter, your son is going to live through that. I don't think he's going to have an option to opt out, or maybe he would. Maybe something.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, these people are so short-sighted and so selfish to want to push the world in this direction.
I think I know what the fix is. So what we need to do, we're gonna go to WEF. We need to put some ayahuasca in their beverages, make them drink it, have some spiritual awakening, and I think we're gonna be better off really soon.
The effect ayahuasca has on demons, though, I don't know. I don't know. What have the
what is it gonna turn worse? The CBDC is coming to
in their ability to control people.
Yeah.
All right, keep moving.
We're gonna watch Milei in a little bit. Let me just mention a couple of stuff about the digital euro, and then we're gonna switch to Milei, and then we have 3 more stuff that are faster. The EU is about to outlaw and restrict some of the most prized features in crypto. So the EU is taking aim at privacy coins and self-custody wallets under a new anti-money laundering regime. It's not about anti-money laundering. It's about you not owning anything at all, your money or your house or anything. They don't want you to own anything. This is the whole point. Restricting self-custody wallet payments, increasing the tracking of crypto transfers, banning privacy coins. This is what basically this whole article is about. Yeah, so that's what they're working on, and that's what is coming. And then,
I mean, I was just kind of distracted for a moment. That's big news, right? So we've been talking about it on the show for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking to clamp down on privacy coins, on privacy tech, and just the ability to use crypto the way it's meant to be used, peer to peer, where you host your own wallet. So we know it's been coming down the pipe. It looks like they're inching closer towards that.
And they don't care about terrorism. They don't care about war. They're funding those stuff anyway. The whole it's such a shit show. They just don't want you to own anything. And they said these are 3 critical changes European Union lawmakers are expected to make this week as they complete a 3-year process of updating the bloc's rules on money laundering and terrorist organization funding in the financial sector. And you can see how they really
show on it maybe this week. Get somebody on from from the European scene that's part of the legislature over there that could come on and talk about it. Because I mean that's just tremendous news if that actually happens.
It's tremendous news. And then let's talk about this. So the prohibition of cash payments over 10,000 euro. And prohibition of anonymous cash payments over 3,000 euros. So this is definitely a war on cash that is happening in Europe and everywhere in the world right now.
Wait, scroll up. Who's tweeting that? That was
Patrick Breyer.
Yes, this is the guy I'm trying to
European Parliament.
Yeah, this is the guy on the show.
That'd be awesome.
So yeah,
that'll be awesome. Yeah, we can get this guy.
Pirate Party, I think, right? Yeah. Pirate Party.
Belgium. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Unfortunately, he's very much the minority over there in the parliament, but at least he's trying.
And guys, if you want to get anybody's attention, just message them and let them know that maybe we should interview them or get us the attention to reach out to those people.
Yeah, your people are always welcome to be on the show on this show as well as a special guest. If you ever want to come on, talk about some project you're working on that's digital cash, freedom tech related. Reach out Monerotopia protonmail.com.
Always let us know if you want to come on the show, or if you want us to talk to someone. Let us know.
Yeah, we got over 50 viewers now, guys. Like and share.
44 on YouTube and 7 likes.
Got a lot more to do.
Awesome. South Padre Tony, hey man. Hey. Nice. Okay. Now let's go to Milei. Let's go to Milei's speech. Well, this one is 22 minutes and I'm going to play a section out of it actually.
The whole thing's like 20 minutes long. I recommend everybody, if you haven't at some point, give this a listen, share it with your friends and family. I'm sending it to everybody in my family, and let me. They definitely don't lean as far anarcho-capitalist as I do, but Milei does a great job here at summarizing the problems with socialism, and so it's just a great thing to share with friends and fam to get the information out there.
Somebody said, I'm going to play a clip, but somebody said, I'm from Argentina and I'm sorry to see this guy as our president. I'm embarrassed, but he will be gone soon. Is this a bot?
And 22 comments.
Is this a bot? Huh. No. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, 22 comments. Yeah.
Brainwash people out there, man.
I'm from Argentina too. We're very proud of our president. He was elected with 56% of the vote. We all support him. Huh. Yeah, I don't know.
This video has gotten, I think, significantly more views than when Trump went and spoke at the WEF. And Trump's video has been on for years now.
Wow.
And has already far surpassed it.
That's incredible.
So people like what he's saying.
Let's watch 47 seconds of.
Yeah, I think this is a good one because I think it's it used AI to translate, so we could hear him speaking. Go ahead.
Yeah, speak English in his own voice too. Yeah. Technology is amazing. Yeah, that's
words that he said, but
yeah. Somebody said that actually. He didn't speak in English, and this doesn't match the translation I heard.
Oh no! Yeah, all right.
But I guess maybe it's a couple words.
Yeah, play for a bit, just beginning.
Yeah.
Neo-Marxists have managed to co-opt the common sense of the Western world. They achieved this through the appropriation of the media, culture, universities, and yes, even international organizations. The final case is very serious. as it involves institutions with huge influence on the political and economic decisions of the countries in these multilateral organizations. Fortunately, more of us dare to raise our voices as we see that if we don't confront these ideas head on, the only possible destiny is more state, more regulation, more socialism, more poverty, less freedom, and consequently, a worse quality of life.
He just sounds too good to be true. And can you imagine being on stage at WEF? Most of the people that go there probably don't care about the human population. They actually want to enslave it. Then this guy hops on stage and says all this stuff. They probably want to assassinate him as soon as he steps off the stage.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying, like, why did they even let him speak?
Exactly.
And obviously, you still have a lot of people out there saying that he's, like, controlled opposition. Otherwise, why would they let him do this? I mean, my take is, all right, if it's controlled opposition, then they're really taking a great risk here, and then so be it. Because the end result is he's spreading these ideas further than they've ever been spread. And so we gotta applaud that. It's making progress.
The networker said on YouTube, his lips matched his AI-generated words. Scary accuracy. Yeah, it's really, and it's using his own voice as well.
Yeah, that's terrifying because I mean, just think of what they can do, right? You're gonna see videos, very convincing videos of world leaders, celebrities, whatever, saying things that they're not actually saying. It's gonna be scary, guys.
They can make one of you. I love Zcash, this Monero thing.
People, that's a fake right away.
Yeah, you'll know. But you should definitely watch the whole speech if you have a chance. It's a really good speech by Milei. Let's talk about this real quick, and then one more thing, and then we'll go to the guest segment because he's been patiently waiting. Multiple U.S. Senate bills object to CBDC's definition of money. Basically, bills against referring to a CBDC as money have been filed in the states of Utah, South Carolina, South Dakota, and Tennessee. The bills would exclude a CBDC from the definition of money and could create a significant roadblocks to a CBDC in the United States. So that is good news.
Good news.
And then the last thing, so we talked about Germany and truckers and farmers protesting. This actually happened in Romania. I actually didn't see the news, but I've seen it on Instagram with my friends, and they were posting on the stories. And I just kept seeing a lot of trucks and farmers, and then I was like, is that happening in my own country as well? And then I started looking into it, and it is. So Romanian truckers and farmers are protesting against the government, and same stuff that they're not doing. They want lower taxes, higher subsidies, and they just want demands that they're not giving them. And the Romanian government is not helping farmers. Of course, they're trying to get rid of them as well. And I'm happy that the protests are going on in my own country as well, and people are stepping up. So
people are rising up.
So that was the news section.
Kuno fundraisers for them.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Let me see if I can actually play this a little bit of this video. Let's see what they show.
Local credit unions and community.
Okay, it's an ad. But a lot of trucks, basically.
We do need to see more of that, and hopefully that will start to happen, right? Monero being used for fundraisers, for funding political movements around the world that are freedom-oriented. Hoping maybe 2024 is the year we see more of that.
Somebody said, going to see a video of Doug selling all his Monero for Bitcoin coming soon. If you see that, that's a fake. That's a fake.
All right, that's the news. So let's move on to guest.
Yeah, let's go to the guest segment.
The Monerotopia Guest Segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys.
Hey, Prancing.
All right, Prancing, we got you this time?
Hey, yeah.
All right, thanks for hanging with us. Sorry about that.
Well, thanks for letting me join. Yeah, it's great.
So what's going on, man? I actually don't know much about you. You reached out. You wanted to come on the show. You had some thoughts to share. I think related to how privacy communities can better communicate and organize in a safer, more resistant way, right?
Right. You know, I am really new to the crypto community. I'd say, you know, less than 8 months. So, you know, over the summer of last year, I started looking at it and I started, you know, and okay, even before that, you know, I've been in this sort of discovery mode, this sort of quest for truth. I think a lot of us are going through that right now. And so I've been going down a lot of the rabbit holes, and, you know, some of it's not related to crypto and that and whatnot. But one of the things that struck me when I found your Monero Talk show was, and I saw some of the other sites that you use to, you know, sort of piece the whole thing together, was even though you're working, you're supporting Monero, which is on a blockchain, you're not using the blockchain to secure your own communications. So you're using platforms like YouTube and, you know, and I've heard Alaskan on
that is how you discovered us, right? I mean, I agree with you. We'll get more into it, and I think there's things that can be done. But also, what we try to do here is be the public-facing side, right? The tip of the iceberg, right? Monero, most of Monero is underwater, but we're the tip, the public-facing tip, so that people can discover us. We have the public Telegram chat. Is it encrypted chat? No, it's a public forum, so we're not there. We don't care if it's not private or whatnot, right? And then YouTube,
right?
Fact is, a lot of the world is on YouTube. We also then we put our shows out. We simultaneously post them on a lot of alternative media sites, including Library. And a bunch of others, but that's why we do that, so that people can come and discover us.
Right, and so what I was suggesting was, you know, I don't know if you caught some of the lead up to this, is you know, I've been using a new social networking platform called Bastion. Now it's you know, like a lot of things that are new, it doesn't have this wide audience, so it's not the proper place for the sort of outreach you're doing here. Mm-hmm. However, it's a good backup to your Monero Town forums type thing. It may not replace all the functionality in Monero Town, but it's a good sort of backup, like when they hit the internet kill switch and DNS is not working. I've got some feedback. Yeah, you can you know, code your IP addresses in your host file and things, but, you know, most people aren't going to do that. And they're not going to do that with every single site they go to. So, you know, to have a place that, you know, that's going to be resistant to that, you know, Bastion is on the blockchain. It's there forever. It doesn't ask for a phone number or an email address. It's completely anonymous, just like starting a Monero wallet. You know, like you're going to get a seed phrase. You know, you're going to get a seed phrase, and that's your way back in. And you know, if you lose that, you're done.
What when you say it's on the blockchain? What is it built on top of?
It's built on top of they call it a PK coin. I don't know the details, but BASTA. I'll put it in the chat here.
But why Bastion? Why not something else? Why not Session? Are you familiar with Session? Or you know,
no.
there's a lot of different things out there.
No, I didn't know. This may be redundant with some of the things that you've already
super
explored.
popular right now, built on Bitcoin. Why bash it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm too new to the community to have all that background that you may have. I don't know all the other secure, all the other blockchain methods that you already know. So I'm just enthusiastic to be here and to try to help the community in any way that I can. So
good thoughts. So how did you even find your way to Monero then? What was kind of your path there?
Well, you just recently came on one of Mike Adams' decentralized TV shows.
Oh, okay.
And I've been listening to Jeff Berwick for almost a year now, and so I mean these are the two guys that really have talked up Monero, and I bought my first Monero in September of last year.
Okay.
And I've made several more several more purchases. I can't find my. I seem to have lost my seed phrase, so that may be a problem. But other than that, Monero seems quite interesting. And I support the idea of Monero, the digital cash, fungible, private, and just its contribution to liberty for all human beings on the planet.
Fantastic to hear. I mean, what do you think of it? Like, are you into other cryptos too, or is it Monero that's really kind of holding you?
No, I mean, if it's not privacy crypto, it's not worth bothering with. I mean, a Bitcoin is with a visible blockchain, I have no use for it. I mean, even the transaction fees are high. So if I'm going to come into a coin to swap for Monero, I'm coming in with something with less transaction fees, right? So I have no use for Bitcoin. Plus, you got to remember, I've been watching the precious metals markets as well, and the precious metals have been trading on the COMEX for years, and those are all derivative-based trades. They're all GLD and SLV. And, anything that's on an ETF is being highly manipulated by the cabal, So anything that's on an ETF is, you just have to get away from it, as far away from it as you can. And now that Bitcoin is on an ETF, that whole chart that he showed earlier with the Bitcoin versus XMR, it's not even worth looking at anymore, because it's going to be tainted by this influence of the cabal. So what we really need is as a measure of our performance is how many vendors are accepting Monero. I want to spend Monero everywhere I go. I don't want to go through a credit card that uses US dollars. I mean, as it stands, I have an open issue with CakePay because they won't refund my money. And, so I'm not at a conclusion there. So I don't want to, trash CakePay just yet. But
what happened?
I bought a Visa card. The Visa card didn't work anywhere I tried to use it. I tried to settle it with, as if you buy a Visa card using CakePay, what CakePay does is they take your Monero and I guess they forward the money to a third party who then issues the card, and you go through this process of plugging in your information. It's very KYC oriented. So I plugged in all that, and then I tried to use the card. I can't use the card anywhere. And I went back to him and I tried to resolve it. And CakePay says, "Oh, you got to go to the card issuer," and the card issuer says, "Oh, you got to go to your," they're all pointing fingers back and forth. So I can't get a refund. So yeah, I won't deal with anything related to CakePay until this is resolved.
Okay, we got to get that cleared up for you. We usually have Tux on the show, and he's with Cake now. He could really help you out with that.
I mean, I may have made a mistake along the way, but regardless, I can prove I sent the money, the Monero. I'm not. I can also prove, or they can prove that I'm not using the money. That I haven't accessed the card, and the card's been declined. And that's easily provable. So what's the problem? You're gonna if you can find a way to take my money and not do it. I mean, I don't know how a business stays in business. If they need repeat business, right? But anyway,
I haven't heard that issue of CakePay people buying cards and they're not working. So I don't know what's going on there. I would suggest. Do you have Twitter? Reaching out to them on Twitter, DMing them. That might be your best way. And like I said,
I caught somebody on Monero Town that seemed to want to help another person, and I reached out to him with a DM in the Monero Town forum. I haven't. I really don't use Twitter or.
Okay, well, you got a hold of them on Monero Town, so
yeah,
they should be able to figure that out with you. I mean, at the end of the day, the real goal is to use Monero natively, right, and to spend it on people at places that actually accept Monero natively.
Absolutely, and no KYC. Going through the Visa is kind of defeats the purpose as well of Monero, because you're back to KYC and you're back to tracking the surveillance grid basically.
The goal is to use it peer to peer. We're launching XMR Bazaar soon with the hope that becomes the place that people use it for. There's also Monero Market that exists right now. There's Monerica, that is a great resource for showing all the different places that currently accept Monero. So there is quite a lot you can do right now with it. But yeah, I mean, the gift cards is a nice bridge, temporary bridge that we can use for those that are really trying to completely live off of Monero. Sometimes they may have to buy a gift card to purchase something on Amazon or whatever it may be, just so they can get everything they need for their daily living. But the end goal is that we won't need these gift cards in the future, right?
Well, I've asked them just to, take the Visa balance, the MasterCard balance, and just move it over to a gift card, which would be,
Yeah, I don't know enough about the details of that to be able to tell you what to do. I mean, I don't work for Cake. I don't know. But I know they always are very accommodating to anybody that's having issues. So if you get in touch with the right people, I'm sure they will solve it for you.
Well, hopefully, one of them is looking here. I don't want to go on and trash them. Give them the people out front usually don't have the ability to, offer creative solutions. So, I want to give a chance for the company to, learn of my problem and try and resolve it. I mean, the people out front were not helpful. So, they definitely need to improve in that area, because the people out front are just pointing fingers at each other. And, I'm just left holding the bag, sorry, you're out your money, and that's the way I feel at the moment.
We'll get you in touch with the right person. I don't know what else to say there. How big of a credit card thing did you buy?
$100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why it's not where that doesn't really add up. Maybe you must be doing something wrong. So they'll teach you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if I'm doing something wrong, I should still be able to get my $100 back. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't penalize me my money because I did something wrong.
Anybody's trying to penalize you. It's just you got to get in touch with the right people.
Right.
All right, man. Let's bring viewers on stage. You have anything else you want to bring up? I thought you wanted to talk more like about the. I didn't know you were just going to come up here and issue a complaint, which is fine, but that'd be more of a viewers on stage thing. I thought we were going to have more of a conversation.
So Bastion, I tried to give you. I wanted to give a demo for Bastion and show the thing, but I had a problem with StreamYard, so I can't show you the app. I can't share it. I tried to do the present. I could try it, and if it breaks on me, I'll be at the end of my presentation anyway. So let me try and do that. You want to try that?
What are you guys? No, let's move on to viewers on stage. Tony, if you want to move on to viewers on stage, and then Prancing, you can be up here and participate in the convo. But I don't want to do something in a way where people won't be able to really see what's going on. So I'd rather stick with that. Tony, you want to go ahead and roll viewers on stage?
Yep, let's go ahead.
It's the Viewers on Stage segment. It's that time where we invite you, the viewers, up on stage to comment on anything you've heard so far today, ask the guest a question, or maybe talk about one of the news topics. Come on down.
All right.
Let's add our last fan on.
Hello. How's my sound? The wind isn't cutting anything, is it?
No, you sound perfect. Sound good?
Okay, good.
Not in Alaska.
Oh, it's the weather seems a little different today. I don't know if you can tell, but I was also worried about the water being noisy, but
honestly, it sounds relaxing.
You sound fine.
It sounds relaxing to be
Anybody who says Alaska isn't gorgeous, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not in Alaska. So
just been feeding everybody into thinking the weather is cold. Alaska is just a beautiful place.
Yeah, just to keep them away.
I don't know. Do you know this this app that Prancing's talking about?
So it's one of those situations where the more the better, right? And the more redundant your systems are, the better. But then you run into this contradiction where, how much time can each community invest in making themselves available and present on every platform? Now, I have actually heard of Bastion, and I do know that it's built on some kind of blockchain, and I believe it's portable. Like, you could actually use a lot of the code to add it to other blockchains that would be able to carry it. But that's as far as I've gotten, and it's definitely worth looking into. I know that you have a small crew, Doug, of people who are pretty technically proficient that could definitely, check the numbers, check the code, make sure that it looks legit, of course. And it's the more options outside of the traditional systems, the easier it is to keep them honest too. A lot of these mainline, I mean, there's kind of a reason why X has come back from its Twitter days, right? Because there were so many different people who had so many different problems with Twitter, and this rebranding, as fake as I think it actually probably is, has worked really well at revitalizing. And I think because of all of the alternatives, there was the real threat of losing the minds of the public, right? But I'll quit ranting. Let's see what everybody else says before I start doing my preachy thing.
People are asking for the link. I just put it up there. So Neon, if you want to jump up, and anybody else that wants to jump up. Slave block. It looks like we have slave blockers here again. We got everybody up here at the stage.
Yep.
Who else we got?
If you can help, I've put up a bounty for Monerujo because we need IPv6 support in Monerujo. So I've put up a bounty for it, and it's currently got 0.1 Monero. So if you can, donate to it, please.
Very cool. Very cool. You could share that and show it right now if you want.
I can get the link for you, but I'm not gonna try to do that presentation crap.
Okay, no worries.
Send the bounty link to me on session, please.
Sure. And it's on Monero. I've posted it on the Monero Town yesterday, so it's definitely up there.
Yeah, if you post it in the chat, we could show it. Tony could put it up. Prancing. So are you using is Cake the app that you're using for your Monero for sending, receiving? Or do you use other apps as well? Prancing, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So I haven't successfully purchased anything with Monero. This was my first attempt to purchase something with Monero, and
I feel bad, man. Do you have your Cake wallet? If you want to do receive and show it in the screen, I'll send you a tip. I can't make you whole with your $100, but I'll happily send you a tip just to kind of give you a better experience.
There, the link is in the private chat.
Got it. Okay, thanks, man.
I'll have to. I don't have that available right now. I can.
Right, well, you could email me and email me your Monero address, and I'll happily send you a tip.
Send to which email?
There's kind of an interesting point to be made here, and I think myself. I also think I heard.
We have Vic is chiming in. So CEO, look at this. This is what Vic is good. He's just jumped on. He's saying, "What's with the $100?" Vic, we're not exactly sure what happened. I think he tried to buy was it a Visa? It was a Visa card. It was a
MasterCard.
It was a MasterCard. He paid for it, the $100 in Monero, and he's saying it's not working. It's not working anywhere. So I don't really know, where it's going wrong. But Vic, where can we direct him to so he can get this resolved? Vic is in the comments right now.
And Prancing, that is the CEO of Cake. That's the big man in charge. So you talked about getting to the right person. If he can't help you, nobody can.
Vic is asking if you reach out to support. You said you talked to people on Monero Town. Did you talk to support directly for Cake?
I think I talked to him on Monero Town. I think he knows of this transaction. Let me look at my Monero Town really quick.
Okay. In the meantime, we're going to talk to other people here and just talk about kind of the news and whatever things of the day. Slave Blocker, anything you want to bring up?
Hello, good day. What about the mic?
Pretty good. A lot better than last time. Yeah.
Sounds
good,
great.
good.
Yeah. You sound better.
I wanted to rephrase my gratitude towards Co and my admiration for the devs. And yeah, so last time the mic was bad, so I wanted to say that.
Couldn't agree with you more, man. Co has done tremendous things. What has you thinking about that right now? Why are you thinking about Co?
No, because without him, I wouldn't be able to do the translation. And for all the people on IRC giving always the answers to my questions. Furthermore, Katie Yun, if it wouldn't be for her, the Bulletproofs chapter would still be in workings. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that, put it out there. Everything I say comes with a grain of salt. I'm just a hobbyist. And so thanks so much for being here, letting me be here again. And yeah.
Yeah, of course, man. And remind us again, what translation are you working on right now?
Now, currently, I'm not. I was working on this direct IP call system that I share the link now, and I send an email to Lascanon I don't know if you received it. Yeah. So it's the way I talk with my mom and with my wife in Bulgaria, and my mom in Portugal, my wife in Bulgaria. So I developed it myself. One image will speak for 1,000 words. I share the link there. It's on GitHub. So perhaps you want to put it on full screen, or I don't if Vic is coming up. I don't know.
Yeah, you could share the link in the comments. Maybe Tony can get it up.
Yep, sure.
Alaska Adon, anything you want to bring up this week? It's on your mind?
Oh man, there's always something, right? But one of the things that I wanted to point out from like a waging war perspective, because I always like to think of terms of war, that's my nature, right, is we have a pretty good front as far as what you do, Doug, getting the word out and all that stuff. You've been able to get the word out to some larger internet personalities, like Health Ranger brought this gentleman into the fold. But now this is where I don't know if you remember the Michael 10 interview where he was saying that there's a major shortfall when it comes to the usability of Monero. And when people who are outsiders coming in, we're so used to the technology that we just fail to understand that they don't know where to go to buy things. And that's why I love the Monerica element, right? And they're learning how to use the app, but a lot of these people, they barely know how to use the other apps or whatever. And there's no like one place to go to try to wrap their heads around it can be an issue. And this is one of the places where, traditionally speaking, like if you were waging war on a foreign country's government and you wanted to work on like hearts and minds sort of deal, what you would do is you would have ambassadors. You would have people trying to step-by-step show people how to use what you're attempting to get them to use. And during the process, kind of continuing the marketing process of why it's beneficial. And I think a lot of people who find out about Monero on the internet, there's not anyone standing there to kind of hold their hand as they venture off into a brand new technology. And then when it's time to, for example, go and buy a coffee, it's like, well, I can't use it natively, so now I need to use the supporting structure. And then if I want to use the supporting structure, I have to be. And so it's layer upon layer upon layer of complexity, which is fine if that's how you get there. However, it's not fine if there's no one to make sure that as they graduate from one layer to another, and what is it, Escuela Bitcoin, or I forget, the guy that we just had on, he takes the time to teach layer 1, layer 2 with Bitcoin. He takes the time to teach them like all of these steps. That ambassador level is something that is sorely missing. I've got a bird throwing shit at me up there. But so those listening, becoming an ambassador for teaching people how to use XMR for the first time and teaching them what each step in the process represents, like who's doing each step. And then finding, like we were talking about with XMR Bazaar, how important it is to have people in the beta trying every different thing. It's the same with our real world examples of training people how to use XMR. We need to figure out where the weak link is, and we need to apply our efforts at every level to fixing the weak links of onboarding people for XMR, right? It's because we've got the tech side pretty wrapped up. I think you're moving the ball down the field pretty fast as far as the marketing it. It's the onboarding and the usability for people who are not tech savvy is still very lacking. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Prancing, any thoughts there? Because I mean, you literally just kind of went through this experience yourself. Are there things that you wish existed in Monero that would help you with onboarding and understanding? I mean, other than this issue you're having, we have Vic on. I'm sure he'll chime in soon. But I just want to get your kind of thoughts as a newbie. Are there things that you wish were a little bit different in terms of usability in Monero?
I think I still need to learn about some of the places where Monero can be used. So I've got some learning to do, and I don't think those resources are published, in a place that where they've ended up in front of me. I most of what I've learned about Monero, the really cool stuff, I've learned on Monero Talk. So this podcast has been wonderful. I mean, you guys, I've learned a lot from you guys, and I'm so enthusiastic about it. I want you to put me to work. I mean, this is a for someone who is liberty focused like I am. I can see no more noble effort to spend my time on. I really really believe in what the privacy coin, the digital cash, is trying to do. Now, at the end of the day, I mean, you need. It's like you go to Walmart. You go to Walmart and you buy something, you don't like it, you want your money back, then no questions asked, you get your money back. I mean, it's not a we're going to make you work for it. You're going to have to do a million things, and you're going to have to talk to customer support back and forth, use up 10, 20 hours of your time by the time you get it resolved. I mean, none of that. I mean, you go to Walmart, you tell them, hey, look, I need a refund. I made a mistake buying this purchase. I don't want this anymore. You don't have to even give a reason. Okay, well, we want your business, repeat business, so here's your refund. As long as you can prove you paid it, you got a receipt and all that. As long as you're bringing, you're not, as long as you're not stealing from them, then you should just, no questions asked. Just don't make so many obstacles for people to get, a resolution on their money. And then,
I mean, it isn't Walmart, right? It's a decentralized ecosystem, but it's inspiring to hear that you're so passionate about it, that the concept has taken hold of you to the point where you want to dedicate time to teaching other people about it, which is exactly what Alaska Anon is saying we need to do. Well, let's get Vic up here because I think he wants to say something. Vic,
hey Doug, hey Prancing, hey guys, how you doing? So yeah, I'll just say some things about in general with Cake Pay. Number one, it's been a huge success. I mean, we're selling thousands of dollars a day of MasterCards and Visas and all that. And by the way, I recommend everyone that's listening. I think the MasterCards one seem to work better and more chance of adding it to your Apple Pay and Google Pay. So it's been good. Like I always say, when things work, nobody's going online and posting a review. Hey, this is an amazing experience. You're more apt to go on and write a negative review or complain if something doesn't work, right? Which is just normal, and that's fine. But Prancing, I don't know your situation exactly because obviously I'm not checking each support ticket on a daily basis. We have a full support staff for that. But I think I'd like to just say also to the whole Monero community, to get Cake support, it's not Reddit, the Monero subreddit. It's not Monero Town. I think people don't want to see support stuff for Cake going on there all the time. So if you are having problems with Cake Pay or Cake Wallet or anything, reach out to us directly. That's the best way to get help. and we have people on 24 hours. But especially with Cake,
the best way for them to reach out to you directly. And is it in the app itself these days? It is, right?
Is the support? Yeah, there's an in-app chat right in-app chat support right in the app. So in Cake Wallet, so you can use that. So, but regarding Cake Pay, sometimes it takes time because we have to. If there's a problem, which is rare, I think thousands of cards we sell a day, maybe we have a problem once a week at the most. So we have to go back to our provider and say, hey, this user had this problem, or the card is not loading, or they're not getting their email, and then then they investigate. So sometimes it does take 24 hours or so to get a resolution. But again, Prancing, I don't know your situation, but definitely reach out to support@cakewallet.com or even our Telegram group, the Cake Wallet Telegram group. Somebody will help you there. So I'm sure it's something resolvable. But
so Vic,
So
Vic, I sent you an email at vic@cakewallet.com, and I forwarded the email from your support team that sort of pointed me back to Prepaid Digital Solutions, which is like all I get is this finger pointing. I'm doing most of this via email, so I've got lots of threads of emails of people giving me canned answers that are pointing back and forth. So maybe we could take this offline, and I can give you some more detail. I don't want to, like I say, I want Cake Wallet and Cake Pay to be successful. So but I also want my problem to be solved, and I hope we can link up afterwards.
Let's not bore everyone with that, but definitely.
So basically, look for one.
We're already emailing back and forth. If you want to email me, and then I'll pass it on to them, or I think like Vic said, jumping in the Telegram group, the Cake Telegram group is probably the best way, and then you'll have a bunch of people there that will be ready to solve your problem.
Oh, by the way, I lied. I am sharing my screen.
Yeah, Vic, if you could just post in the chat, something about where to contact you directly. What's the easiest way? Whether it be a Telegram link or what? Just how can I talk to you?
Yeah, honestly, contacting me directly is probably. I mean, I'd love to help you, but the support staff would have more information on each case that's going on. But you can contact me directly. It's no problem. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Well, like I say, I've been multiple times with the support staff. They keep pointing me back and forth, and so I'm in sort of this this endless loop of they're just wanting to wash their hands of it, kind of thing.
I'll put it in the private chat here, my Telegram. Okay.
Sounds good.
So I just wanted to throw something out there about what I think is absolutely beautiful, which is you've got this. I mean, this man is truly pioneering, like on ramps and off ramps for everything Monero, and he's even getting in the trenches and running his own marketing campaigns and everything. And here, like you said, you've got your one out of a few hundred case where something goes wrong, and then of all of those where the support isn't going well. And here he is, because for one, he's such an active participant in the community that he's listening to the Monero talk in which the grievance is being aired, right? But then another thing is, I can appreciate, in fact, I've heard from Tux just how much work has to be put into, some of these bleeding edge payment processing like mechanisms, and how much work goes into just trying to make them work, right? So, but on top of that, here we have a man who is passionate about the idea of a freedom-minded financial system. And this gentleman that has made it onto Monero Talk is precisely our target audience. And what we need to be paying attention to here is when he transitions from the payment processing that he's used to what it is that we do and has become second nature to a lot of us, what are we doing to make that transition as smooth as possible? And I would like to point out that what Vic is doing right now is exactly what I was suggesting a little bit ago, which is, you know, you have to be that ambassador. You have to really dig into, okay, what was this man's use case? Why did it fail as his use case? How do I make it better? And this isn't even, it sounds to me like it's actually the third party that might be at fault here. And yet he's still digging as deep as he possibly can to figure out what is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't just have to be with examples like, you know, cake pay. Every little thing that we do. So, we had talked about the flyer situation, right? Where people pass out flyers to make people aware of Monero. Okay, so if you pass out a flyer, are you following up to figure out, hey, did my flyer work? Did they understand the words that were on the flyer? Do they know who to contact to onboard themselves? Do they have somebody to talk to about the transition? And I found that to be the case. I onboarded a guy at Costco one time to Monero, and so he actually bought Monero for cash from me, allegedly, according to some possibly, maybe not boating accident, whatever. So he got on board, and then I talked to him maybe a month later, and he was confused about why wallets sync. And what was it about, like, how come the amount of Monero that he bought changed? Things that we all understand, the price of Monero and the price of the dollar don't always match up at the point that you bought it, or what syncing a wallet is. And that was when I realized, there are so many things that we take for granted that we already know. And every single one of those things, it's just like, you don't just get on a bike and learn to ride a bike. You kind of learn about what wheels do. You kind of learn about what the pedals are for. You learn about how to steer it. And we do not want to become an echo chamber of Monero people talking to Monero people about Monero people. And then just grinding our teeth when we look at people who don't understand how to get on board. So my wife was into Monero for 6 months, I think, before she even made a wallet. It was just if something was bought or sold with Monero, I did it, right? And she was just used to the idea. And then she was like, hey, I need to make a wallet and I need to put Monero on it so I can use Monero when you're not around. And it just dawned on me, this is my wife and she doesn't even have a Monero wallet. What am I doing, people? So... And I guarantee you all of us are that guilty, that we are not actively following up with people who are interested or passionate about the technology to make them able to do what it is that we promised them they would be able to do. And this is not so much a technological shortfall on the part of the developers. This is not using Cake Wallet is literally easier than using the banking apps that I use with fiat, FedNote, garbage. I'll shut up, but I think you guys get it.
Yeah. What Prancing brought up a good point though, right? So he's very excited about Monero. He wants to spread the ideas. He's like, I want to do work for Monero. What are some things we think he can do to contribute and to help grow Monero and grow adoption? Anybody got ideas? Prancing, you mind telling?
Oh, go to conferences.
You want to tell us where you're from or where you're located at in a general sense? You don't have to be specific.
Yeah, I'm from Central Florida, and I have a.
Hey, Prancing, me too.
Oh, that's great.
I have a bent toward Linux and open source. I wouldn't consider myself a dev or a developer, but I'm a user of Debian Linux, and I don't use a Microsoft or Apple product in my home.
Wow.
I use exclusively Linux of one variety or other. Currently, my favorite distribution is Debian, and I would be willing to become a test platform test participant for any app that is developed within the community that is bound toward Linux. I also have I have a cloud server of my own, my personal cloud server, which is run on Proxmox, which is a KVM and also a virtual container server, which I love using the VCs. And so I can bring up a version of Linux really quickly and bring it up, tear it down. Great for a lab environment, and I could use that in a lot of my testing if there was some tests I could do for the community. So for you techies out there,
you might have a look at the Monero community IRC and Matrix channels, because they have a lot of discussions about different community things, and that might be interesting to you.
Yeah, Matrix is good.
Also,
or you can just go to local shops and tell them.
Also, consider joining the XMR Bazaar chat room. You could help once we launch with testing things out there. I2P, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, there is one great way to increase adoption if it's in Florida. Just tell the dangers of CBDC in any gun shop, pawn shop, or any kind of local shop, or in the prepper community. Just tell them the adoption of gold, bullets, and privacy coin, and they will jump by themselves.
I2P has been pushing that narrative a lot, and yeah, I agree. I think that's a simple meme to spread.
Yeah, I think that's actually much effective, because there is already a political right now, a contingent growing between anti-CBDC. So how do you counter a proper CBDC implementation? You need like physical cash, gold. If you are in the United States, it's very important to have those guns and ammo, trading of guns and ammo, and as well as how do you replace, like Fluffy Pony used to say, if there is a system in online which we could use for privately transacting, that is Monero. So yeah, that's a good direction to go.
Absolutely.
Very good point. Yeah, we often at conferences, and we have that big poster. What's his name, Schwab, on it, and it's it says they can kill cash, but they can't kill Monero, right? Like people need to understand.
I think all Monero conferences should be like linked with the guns. Then they will get like the idea that there is a risk of wrench attack, $5 wrench attack, but then when you have the real stuff, then how do you counter that? And I think I will talk about the Zcash thing, the thing which is happening in the Samurai dev incident with Set of Privacy, as well as Firo, Xano, as well as those other projects. The thing is, in the Zcash, this one, exchange only address. It's not they have implemented in the protocol version. I think we should give the correct information. Firo's case is different.
I didn't realize that when I put it out there. Luke corrected me, but I don't really totally get. It's a wallet.
I think it just shows like the culture is compared to Monero. The culture of Zcash as well as Firo, those are very weak. But in Firo's case, it's actually much worse. They implemented protocol level exchange only addresses. But Zcash, it's still okay. Like they have like neutral stance, but their community member, one guy, has implemented this one wallet. Means their idea is their roadmap is to depreciate the transparent address, but while they remove those Orchard as well as those Halo 2 licenses from BOSL they changed the license to MIT, and then suddenly the problem came. So they thought that better to use the unified address scheme like stealth address, zero knowledge proof. It's proper use of zero knowledge proof. They will just make an exchange only address by wallet developers themselves. So yeah, actually they shouldn't do that, but still, yeah, it's not that bad compared to Firo's one. But yeah,
not as bad as Fear.
and
It still show that they're willing to cater to.
yeah, they are weak, but that's the thing. Instead of using the development workload of Firo that implementing protocol level changes, or even the Zcash team implementing their resources to make sure that the wallet developers can do that. Compared to that, if you just focus on DEXs and P2P options, the problem would solve itself. Like Monero, the problem will automatically solve itself. So I think they need to wake up to that. I think they are waking up to that, but yeah, it will take a slow. The frog will boil slowly. It will be a very tough process. But yeah,
if the Zcash community is looking to deprecate transparent addresses, how then are they going to be allowed to interface with these exchanges?
Oh, there is a lot of misinformation. Like there is a difference between deprecating transparent addresses as well as deprecating transparent addresses and transparent pools. So they till now do not have that much of a majority. Like there is a small minority contingent that even want to deprecate the entire thing. Transparent pool as well as transparent addresses. They would only want shielded addresses and shielded pools, but they just want to see the functioning. It's like a developer thing. Like the Zuko and the some of the developers have somehow implemented a culture like they care about consent, users' consent. They actually want to get the data, how many users they actually want to press the button, like Tor, like how many users are actually want to use the privacy function. But I think it's actually compared to Monero, it's actually a bad strategy. Yeah, I think it's good if you want to stay in exchanges, but for the culture wise, the Monero's culture is much better because even if you, like Monero's case, even if you get delisted, the price, there is no such effect. Like it's still $152. It's like stable. It's basically a privacy stable coin. But yeah, and there is something other thing. The Dero thing is different. If you check their GitHub, once upon a time, Trevor made a GitHub issue comment that security, they have some issues with the implementation of bulletproofs as well as partial homomorphic encryption, but that's not the issue. The other issue is the implementation in such a way like it was very weak implementation. Like if you check their GitHub, it's not that strong. But yeah, it's still better. It's something new. Like, and I think their marketing is also very bad. They cannot properly describe their product well. Like, you cannot have fully homomorphic encryption, and you do not have successful zero knowledge proof. It will never work.
I2P.
You need to have zero knowledge
just a
proof.
question. What does Dero actually do? Does it provide for private smart contracts or not?
Yeah, it provides smart contracts, but for like payment, if you really want like censorship resistant underground, like high quality privacy, I think the full chain membership proof of Monero, that model, as well as Halo 2, those are the only option right now. Or maybe if Neptune Cash, this one comes out with its
I bought
mutator
that.
sets.
I just don't know what I bought. I bought in. I thought it would be the private Ethereum and all that narrative.
Yeah, it's
so
still
I don't really
better.
know what it does.
Anything is better than surveillance coin, but it's still weaker. Like it's not that great.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer BH.
And
so
the
BH
Zeno
had
thing, yeah,
mentioned that.
just best everyone should know that there is a pre-mine, because they have to develop somehow their project. So yeah, and the samurai dev thing is another different thing. So what Set of Privacy said about the use of taproot addresses for coin join, that's actually better advice. But yeah, there is an issue. Like samurai devs, they want to somehow, because they made a bad pledge, they don't want to touch other coins, but they still somehow made sure that their followers, that they can tell their followers that they are only touching the toxic change and exchanging it with Monero, but it's not a proper Monero wallet. But the thing actually happening is more different. Like they do not like taproot addresses, which actually brings little bit of privacy. It's actually not that great, but still it's little bit better compared to normal addresses, SegWit addresses. But yeah, whatever the suggestion like Set of Privacy has given is actually better for them. But there is also a downside. Like if you want to properly implement coin joins, even in like whether it's Samurai wallet or Wasabi wallet or even Cash Fusion of Bitcoin Cash, you need confidential transaction. Otherwise, it will not work, because you have the toxic change, you have the issue with the nodes getting, because you do not even have dandelion plus plus, it's a lot of issue. So that yeah, the most important thing is the culture is not there, because if there is an active privacy culture, they would have implemented confidential transaction long ago. So yeah, you need to have that culture also.
Yeah,
so I wanted to throw out there, we had a person in a BH on the chat was asking about donating to Escuela Bitcoin for Monero Nodo. Even though there's not a Kuno up right now, both Doug and Escuela have posted wallet addresses. And I believe if you send a payment from Cake to Cake, can't you attach a message to it? I've never actually tried, but I think you can. But there... Okay, but basically you could either reach out to Doug directly and he could allocate, whatever donation toward such a thing until maybe there is a Kuno. But that's not a bad idea. It'd be really cool to have a Nodo in South America, so they'd have their own node and they could use light wallets privately. That's an interesting message there. In fact, if it comes to pass, you should let me know.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing it up. Yeah, BH, if you want to email me, monerotopia@protonmail.com, to help get Escuela Bitcoin a Nodo, would love to help you out with that. Obviously, that'd be fantastic. We got Alex and Narco on. How's it going, man?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing?
Excellent.
Doing great. Yeah, I've been cooking on some stuff, and I would like to share it with you, if I can.
Please do. Stage is all yours.
All right, so I will try to share my entire screen, and hopefully this works. No, that's not the right one. Yeah, I've been coding on my personal website quite a bit, and I'm just going to share my screen here. All right. So
beautiful.
I cannot move this away, so I have to go like this. Move this over. Yeah, so I've been working on my personal website.
Wait, right now I'm only black right now. I'm only seeing black right now.
Oh no, that's not good. So I'm sorry. I switched my desktop environment from X11 to Wayland, and yeah, for the Linux folks, this may mean something. Can you see this? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I've been working on my personal website. For those of you that recognize my name, I've been around in the Monero community, and I got inspired through Monero to learn to code. So I'm really excited now that I have a website that also has a Monero integration. Basically, I do a podcast where I discuss ideas like crypto anarchy or anarcho-capitalism. I started my podcast in German, and I read through these books like The Ethics of Liberty by Rothbard, or Anatomy of the State by Rothbard, or What Has Government Done to Our Money? And then also a book by Ayn Rand. And those were episodes in German. They are now 2-3 years old, and I restarted doing my podcast, but now my focus has shifted, and I'm much more into the cypherpunk ethos of building the anarchy we want to see in the world and then just opting into it. So yeah, I started doing episodes again, and this is my latest episode where I just have my first episode in English, actually. So that's also the thing I want to announce. If you are looking for some more content in the cypherpunk niche, then maybe give my podcast a check out. The website is alexanarcho.live. And yeah, for each
Alex,
episode.
I love that you jumped on today, because I was going to reach out to you, tell you to come on and be a special guest, because I did see this announcement that you're now doing the podcast in English.
Yeah.
I will definitely be a listener. Very cool.
Nice.
Guys, check it out. And I think I know what you're about to announce next, which I thought was super cool. Go ahead and tell everybody what you're doing and how you integrated Monero.
Yeah. Okay. So first, I'm so happy about all the technology that I get to use. I also have slides for each episode. So these are show notes that you can watch while going through the podcast with me. Sometimes I also have links there. And this is so cool. I'm doing all of this with like Emacs. It's a markdown file where I can generate this presentation and just have it as an HTML file and then put it on my server. So super cool. And the coolest thing for the Monero folks is how the funding model works. So, locked episodes, it's plural. Right now, I don't have any new episodes, but if I do, they are coming out first with a funding goal. So this is how it works. I release my episode with a funding goal, let's say like €5 in Monero. That was the price of the last one, because I didn't put much effort into it, but basically some amount, and then it's there for the community with a sub address. People can donate if they wish to help to unlock the episode. And once the funding goal is reached, there is a Monero wallet RPC on the server, just checking the addresses, and then there's some logic. So if the paid amount is above the funding goal, the episode is marked as unlocked, and then will just automatically be released on the website and in the RSS feed. Right now, you can't see this because I don't have any locked episodes, but then there's like a card here with a QR code, a progress bar, and
I love it.
And this whole thing
a way for other people to do this, to kind of learn from what you're doing here, like other podcasters that may want to follow you here?
So this is a little bit ways into the future, but I think this right here is what it's all about. Being able to use technology, open source technology that is available on the internet, and like engineering it all together for something that is useful to you. And I will definitely give like a walkthrough about my website. I'm using T3 Stack in the as my framework. So T3 Stack is using TypeScript, Next.js, React.js, Tailwind CSS. It's a really cool framework to build websites fast, and just the ability to have a Monero integration and then sell any kind of, especially digital product, like a podcast episode, an MP3 file. It's perfect for the internet. You get a digital product, you pay with digital cash, and it's just a thing of beauty. And also, like, the episode unlocks once and is out there. Like, I don't believe in intellectual property. I don't want to enforce copyright. So I think it's just this value for value economy. That's also like in the podcasting 2.0 space, but basically where the listener gives back to the content producer, and you kind of skip the need for advertisement, where the the listener really turns into the product and is now targeted by the advertisers instead of being the customer of the podcast host.
I just want to interject real quick that, hey, Doug, this is literally exactly what I was trying to tell you to do about XMR Bazaar.
I was thinking
where
that.
Yeah, it's where you launch the source code and the final round of beta testing. You launch them simultaneously when a certain goal is reached. And this guy has like a perfect working example of exactly that. And I can't tell you how fucking happy that makes me for somebody to actually show what I was talking about.
And this use case for podcasts, it makes so much sense for all the reasons you're talking about, Alex. So yeah, the user is no longer the customer. You get paid, but it's not that everybody has to pay. It's just the initial unlocking, which gives them access once the episode is kickstarted, right? Once enough people have chipped in.
Yeah,
that is really cool.
Awesome. If you think about the incentives, it's also like I cannot relax on my royalties and say, oh yeah, 3 years ago I made these great podcast episodes and I'm still earning money for it. No, I have to like constantly keep producing stuff, and hopefully if my audience grows, I will be able to demand more and more funding goals, and hopefully if the community grows, it's not that much for the individual listener. Like if you chip in $1 here and there, that's totally fine, and that's exactly what I'm hoping for. And the content is out there, so you're able to reach the maximum amount of people as well. It's not like you have a payment wall and like a barrier to entry for newcomers. So I really think this is like, and this is not my idea. I got this from Stefan Molyneux like 10 years ago when he was talking about copyright and how it's really an issue of the business model with these intellectual property things, quote unquote, that the musician, the author, the podcaster, they need to find a better model to monetize themselves. And like having this lazy excuse of the state enforcing copyright is really not the answer to the solution. So he gave this example of J.K. Rowling, like writing the first 2 Harry Potter books, getting an audience, and then with each book being able to demand more and like still being very wealthy and living a nice life. But just
by the way, can I add one more thing, and that is the stretch goal, which for podcasts maybe not so much, but stretch goal, what I mean by that is if a perfect example at Monerotopia, we plan on doing this, but if we can unlock this stretch goal, we will do this. So for example, like we want to have a vendor selling this stuff, but we're going to have to buy the product in advance. So this stretch goal funds purchasing the product so we can sell it for Monero at Monerotopia. Or so stretch goals work absolutely hand in glove with this business model, and it's particularly useful for people with way too many big ideas like Doug.
Alex, I'm curious, what Ayn Rand books do you like? Because I just read recently Atlas Shrugged and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I love all of them. I'm also listening right now to the audiobook of Atlas Shrugged for the second time. I read it like 10 years ago, and it really deeply influenced me. So here I read the virtue, or I think the English title is The Virtue of Selfishness, maybe. And yeah, I just love all of her work. And I really have to say, now that I listen to Atlas Shrugged again, it's ominous how well she predicted the downfall. Like, I live in Germany and the train system is really not that great. And there's like just today I went into the city of Frankfurt and the train took like 40 minutes to arrive, and it was super stuffed, like you were standing back to back with your neighbor. And this is exactly what Ayn Rand is also describing in Atlas Shrugged. And this will be also a topic of a future episode. I think the analogy between, and I kind of spoil the book here a little bit, so close your ears if you don't want to hear it. The analogy between Gall's Gulch, so the place where the prime movers, the industrialists, the capitalists all flee to from the grasps of the looters and moochers, as they are called in the book. It's kind of like the lunar punk ethos, I think. You know, they hide in a valley in Colorado, in the mountains. They have like a mirage projected with refractor beams on the mountain, so it looks like there is no valley there at all. And this, to me, seems like so much like cryptography, that we have this mist of cryptography that allows us to shield what's actually going on, and allows us to live in privacy and be sovereign individuals and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome, man. Love what you're doing. I love that you're putting your content out there in English now too, so we all get to us English speakers get to enjoy it as well.
Yes.
Alex and Arco, I wanted to be on the meetup, but I couldn't because I should work. Also, ich konnte nicht.
Okay, so that brings me perfectly to my next topic. So there was a meetup in Frankfurt, Germany last November, and there will be another one this February on the 28th at 6 o'clock again. The website for more information is moneroof.info. And we have a simple X chat group. That's, I think, the best place for people to come when they plan on attending. And we will also be able to stay in touch. And we don't have to use meetup.com, which is not that great. And also you have to pay for it to host meetups and stuff.
Why don't you do it on the weekend? What day of the week is that?
It's again Thursday.
Oh, man.
And I do it, so I assume you can live far away from Frankfurt?
No, it's Gießen. So it's just that I work, and it doesn't.
Yeah,
Alex,
so I get...
Alex, how many people you get to show up to these Monero meetups?
So the last time we had like 20-some people, I want to say. So I was really surprised, and some really came from far places, like a 3-hour drive in one direction. So maybe this is persuading you. I don't know who was talking just now to come. Some 20-something people showed up, and it was really cool. Like I had these posters that are kind of dated, unfortunately. Like they still say something about Kovri on here, but I was able to pawn off some of my MoneroCon merchandise, and I gave a talk that I also have a video up on this website, moneroof.info. And yeah, Vic from Cake Wallet was kind enough to sponsor a giveaway. I was onboarding like 4 new people on the meetup, and it was just a great experience, especially since we don't have that much content like this in Germany.
Alex, I can't see your screen because of my low vision. What is your domain name? I'm very interested to look at your website. What is your domain?
The domain for the meetup is moneroof.info, or Moneroof. I can also post it here in the chat if you want to. And for my personal website, it's alexanarco.live with a V.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. And again, I'm super excited about technologies where we use, for example, the library Monero TypeScript. This is a TypeScript library. Oh, that's not the right domain. Anyway, that's a TypeScript library that you can use to control a Monero wallet in TypeScript code, do some integrations with it. And I really have to say, it is not that hard to code your own payment gateway like I did here. So I also proposed a talk about this on the next MoneroCon, like giving a workshop with Monero TypeScript for web developers who are interested. And this is really powerful stuff, because imagine about all of the use cases that you can implement with this. And
Amazing, man. Thank you for jumping on today.
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah,
as
it's
a
nice.
final word, when I remember this so clearly. I was super interested in Monero and the ethos behind it, and I really wanted to start learning to code, but it always seemed so daunting to me. Like, you see these brains that are just super competent and highly versed in like seemingly everything. But then I listened to one of the episodes of the Monero Talk where there was some guy who said he also learned to code himself and programmed like some exchange thingy in Python. And it is really doable. Like, if you're motivated enough, this is really something you can learn, and don't be afraid or put off by the seeming complexity. You will never learn all of programming, but you don't have to. Like, if you want to program with Monero, you don't have to learn C++ or like a highly complex language. You can do it with Python, with JavaScript, with TypeScript, and these are much more human readable languages. Like, sometimes I look at the code now and it reads like plain English, and it's just a matter of practicing, and it's well worth it because you become so powerful. It's wielding magic, especially when you're experimenting with internet money. Like, it's so crazy. You're just your own payment gateway. You don't need to have permission by anybody. It's super cool.
Which, by the way, you're reminding me, we were talking about it last week, trying to get implement tipping into the chat over here on Monerotopia. We got to work on that. I know Shortwave Surfer, I think you were talking about it in the private, in the XMR Bazaar chat or somewhere, right? Ideas on how we can get that moving. We got to get that going on the show, so where viewers can comment and tip with Monero natively. That would be awesome.
Yeah, funnily enough, sorry to hog the mic, but I've proposed the tip XMR like years ago now, and we still haven't completed it. This would be exactly the use case for it. If you don't want to wait so much, you can do it much simpler by hosting your own Monero wallet RPC. This is like, you just have to have a Monero wallet RPC, and I believe Hundehausen, you may recall his name.
Yes, he's going to be on next week. He's going to be doing our dev report next week.
Ah, perfect. So he has coded some very simple, very light service that does exactly this with just some JavaScript, a Puck template, and then a Monero wallet RPC.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right,
so
we'll get that going.
Enjoy the show, and thank you so much for everything you're doing. I think the consistency you bring to the table, Doug, is really something to be admired. Like, being that consistent takes a lot of effort.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And you're always welcome to jump on anytime. And once again, I encourage people to check out Alex Anarcho. Definitely, now that he's putting content out there in English. Do you want to just put it out there again where people can find the podcast?
Yeah, so use a podcasting app other than Spotify, just a RSS reader with audio. Basically, I use on Android Antenna Pod Pro, I think it's called. It's also free. And then my website is alexanarcho.live. You can find a button to subscribe to the RSS feed, or the RSS feed is also alexanarcho.live/feed/RSS. And then if you want to go to the Monero Offenbach meetup, moneroof.info.
Yeah, people who are listening around the world too, consider throwing a Monero meetup where you live. We could try to help you out a little bit here. Let us know if you're looking to throw a meetup. We need to be doing more of these globally. Prancing, maybe that's something you want to do. Maybe you want to host a Monero meetup.
Well, I don't think I'm qualified, but I would attend one if we had one.
Yeah.
You can host a Monero meetup for all the retired people.
Absolutely. I2P sounds like he might be the knowledge in the background. Hopefully, maybe he could train me.
Well,
I would like to chill. I would like to chill my project. Just show it.
Yes. Can you do it?
Can I click on present here and then
Present, yep.
Yep, you just do present and then what you want to share.
Did it work?
What? Oh no.
Does he have the permission?
Entire screen, right? Entire screen. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that approach. That should work.
I'm not sure
you
if he has
see
to
me
be
now?
granted permission.
No, here it is. Yep. Oh shit! I accidentally removed you. There it is. There's your. That's your screen.
Okay. Do you see that?
Yep. We see it.
So yeah, so that's the GitHub account, slave minus Walker, and like this is the minimalistic networking routing protocol to make direct IP calls, and it took about like I don't know since it started like 4 years ago. I wanted to definitely make encrypted phone calls just like that without smartphones, without anything. And I was in Berlin having a networking course, and I called my wife over the landline, and it cost 40 euros. Ironically, my cousin in the past, that was the Deutsche Demokratische Republik. And when my mother called them, like 60 years ago, not 60, like when the DDR was, he went to a payphone and he called her back saying, "Don't call me because they're listening," and all that. And on that same house where he was called and had this conflict of, so I called my wife in Bulgaria, and she used a soft phone. This is Zip. It's been around for 30 or 40 years. So it's just VoIP in OpenVPN. And it has twice the Dunbar number. So you have 255 people can talk to you. Like you are the server for 255 people. Do you see my mouse?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the server. This is one of the tunnels. This is your server tunnel. And then Linux has this property that it has the default network namespace, and these are the custom network namespaces. So each one has a tunnel of themselves. So you can have 255 OpenVPN clients. And this is the classical phone. It uses no PBX, and last Sunday I put the ironic, funny remark that it is 1984. There was a South Sea bubble in 1720 at the 6th of January. There was something about the South Sea bubble, and so what happens is that everyone uses the same private IP address, and it's completely irrelevant, and there are no collisions, because if you don't use always the same one, then there is a range, and then it won't work. But now it does, and this took like 3 months to do, and I only do it at weekends. And so I just wanted to show that I don't want to hog the mic and all that, but it works. It's for CLI, and I put the bounty out also for that. My memes, I know that's 0.1 for who makes a more minimal routing protocol in Linux that allows for direct IP calls, because this runs on your Raspberry. You have to be knowledgeable about the CLI, and but it works, and it's great. Let me just check if it. Perhaps I can. What? No. My mother turned her off in Portugal. She's always wants to not waste energy. So that's
Well, very cool, man. So just so if you can just kind of summarize, like what's the so people would use this instead of traditional encrypted chat means?
So it's like there is no SDK, there is no smartphone, there is no API. There is like just a Ubuntu server running on. There is no other software. It's completely minimal. There is nothing. You see the packets coming in. It's peer-to-peer. So if you do not forward the ports on your router, you do need a VPS, and that's very interesting because we should have open out-of-band connections of Monero nodes. Like we have I2P, we have Tor, we have ClearNet, and we should have more and more, and distribute blocks over websites or whatever, be really resilient. So this works for phones, but it could also work for nodes. Like you have your Monero Nodo, and I think that's a great name because it's no do also. You don't need to do anything, probably. You just plug it in, right, Doug? And that's great.
Exactly.
Yeah. So out of band Monero full node communication is important, I think. Yeah.
Very cool.
For letting me show
the
that.
fact that people are out there working on these things. Yeah, you're welcome to.
Voice over IP is very cool, and I think we have to check out for the network level privacy also. Like the Tor project, they are doing that Arctic of like a Rust-based Tor client. I think I2P also should do their Rust client. They should focus on those. I think one other project, I think it's popping up with their Rust client. So it's actually we have to take care of that the problem which happened in the surface internet, the problem with mobile towers and everything, the mess which came from that. I think we have to rectify that. Then only we will have a good amount of network level privacy. So voice over IP is actually a good thing. It's not applicable everywhere, but still, it's still a good thing. And simplex, like if you are going to a conference using Monero and communicating with simplex chat or even session, it's still better.
BH is asking, Doug, have you ever thought of presenting to a college computer science group about Monero? Could be a way to spread XMR and recruit more developers. It's a great idea. It's a fantastic idea.
If you want to put it on screen there, Doug, I'm sharing my screen with the bounty I mentioned earlier, the QR code that you can donate to that if you wish.
Okay, you just want to explain to everybody again what this is donating for what the cause is here?
Yeah, so basically, Monerotopia, the Android Monero app, does not properly support IPv6, and IPv6 is the future of the internet. As much as you might like it or hate it, it is the future of the internet, and it needs to be supported. What happens is it will connect to the node. It will get like the block height and everything like that, but you can't load your wallet with it. So like it'll try to load and then it will just fail and kick you back to the receive screen. So anybody with either who doesn't not have IPv4 or can't use an IPv4 node won't be able to access nodes with Monerotopia until IPv6 support is enabled.
Anybody that wants to donate to that, there's the QR code. Very cool, man. Thanks for spreading the word on that. You can, continue to put the word out. How far are you off from the bounty?
I've contributed 0.1 Monero to it. It's not like a closed bounty or anything. It's not for me. It's going to be for somebody just to code it. So anybody who, if you don't want to like donate to it and you can pick it up, then go right ahead and pick it up and put a PR out on GitHub and get it merged, and then it'll be yours. But it's got 0.1 Monero right now, at least the last time I checked. And I put that up, and I'll put more up too until it gets done.
Awesome. Nice.
Any other like important bounties that are sitting out there that haven't been claimed? Any like?
What happened to the Nostr client? The Nostr client thing? The Monero's Nostr client?
There's still a bounty up for it. I saw that too.
Might I suggest that there should be a bounty for possibly like guest expenses for like notable guests, the expenses of getting them to Monerotopia?
Like what was his name that wanted like money to come to Monerotopia? Was that Peter Todd or was that somebody else?
Yeah, Peter Todd. Yeah. We had.
No, was it Phil Zimmerman? It was somebody like that.
Yeah, Phil Zimmerman as well. Yep, we paid him as well. I mean, everybody, a lot of people we reimburse, for travel, but some wanted more. Peter Todd, and Peter Todd made me pay him in Lightning. Which was a funny experience.
One of the best anti-Lightning marketing strategies ever is to ask people to pay you in it.
It really backfired, especially when the Lightning address he sent me expired, and he had to resend it.
Yeah, I should have recorded it. It would have been a meme, a good meme.
All right, guys, we are approaching 3 hours. We are at 3 hours. I see viewers are starting to dwindle at this point. This was, another amazing show, another marathon. Some amazing guests today, amazing surprise guests. I'm going to close it out here unless anybody has any last things they want to put out there. Anything. Going once. Going twice. All right, we'll call it. We'll call it here. Tony, I don't know if you want to. Is Tony still here? Did we lose Tony?
No.
Just I wanted to tell a joke. Like whenever there is something like epic happening in Monero, or somebody says something great, like just for fun, you should say the block height, so it's like recorded. Great.
That's a real high.
I wonder if we could get block height integrated into like the screen, when your screen is locked on a graphene phone, if you like make the clock pop up. Somebody should write in like setting an approximate block height for Monero underneath the clock.
All right, well, we'll end it on that. Thank you so much, everybody. We do these shows every week, Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. As everybody should know by now, the show's open to all that want to participate, as long as you keep it digital cash, Liberty Tech related. If you ever want to be a special guest, reach out to us, Monerotopia@protonmail.com. Otherwise, you can just jump up on the viewers on stage. All right, guys. Have a good one. Ciao.
Bye, guys. Bye. Have a good week.
Bye.
Tony, run the outro.
Thank you for joining us on this week's Monerotopia episode. We stream live shows every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find and subscribe to our show on YouTube and Odyssey, or listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or join us in the Monerotopia Telegram group. See you all next week.